Fanatics isn't just our name, it's who we are. Loyal, passionate fans dedicated to our favorite teams and to the sports we love. That's why we're honored to be able to offer fans the world's largest collection of official sports apparel and sports jerseys from all leagues, teams, and players you love. We feature a wide selection of gear from every league, including the NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL, and NCAA merchandise, which allows us to serve fans of football, baseball, hockey, basketball, lacrosse, soccer, golf, and, well, everything else that gets your heart pumping. Go to fanatics.com by using the QR code on your screen right now to celebrate your teams. That's fanatics.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Discover our collection of handcrafted candles. That's right, every product is thoughtfully created in small batches free from harmful toxins for mindful everyday indulgence. Our candles are hand-poured in coconut soy wax with natural wood wicks, offering a long-lasting burn and rich fragrances. Create a cozy, safe ambiance for your home with candles from Alley Rose Fragrances. First-time customers use the promo code InsideEdge20 to receive 20% off your order. AlleyRoseFragrances.com, proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Podcast Network.
We're back. Yes, this is the main event on the Inside Edge Net. I am Rob Rozycki. We have AA Anthony Alford, Eli Moon. Gentlemen, we have a quorum after a week off. How is everybody doing after our little respite here?
Man, I'm doing great, Rob. You look very tan. Very nice to see you. Yes, you look very tan. Yeah, I'm doing great, man. It's summer in Cleveland, doing well. The summer vibes were pretty strong throughout most of the weekend. Not too much rain, so we'll take it, man. We're doing good. AA.
It's funny you say not too much rain. It's raining outside right now.
It's actually raining here too.
Yeah. We're gonna get some good rain. No, this week it was fantastic. Had a birthday party I went to. It was great. The weather was fantastic. Happy Father's Day to all the dads watching. That does not include any of us on this show, but
that we know of.
That we're aware of, but happy Father's Day. But my weekend was great. I will admit, though, I didn't spend time at Hilton Head. I'm a little jealous of our buddy over here, Rob Rozycki.
Yeah.
Spent some time at Hilton Head.
That was nice. It was we had a really nice week over. We got Hilton Head Saturday afternoon, and then we stayed all the way until what was it, yesterday morning. We cleared out of there around 7 a.m., and then we're back up in the civilization here in Ohio by the end of the day. But, yeah, it was a nice time. It was gorgeous weather. It was hot. The first couple of days we were there, it was, 95, 100 degrees. And I know we're on vacation and we're lounging around and having a good time, but, even just being by the pool was almost a war of attrition just with, the heat and having to, deal with that. But, did the Dolphin cruise, went to the Salty Dog, did all the staples. If you've been down to Hilton Head, you know what I'm talking about. We had a lot of good food and just kind of chilled out for 7 consecutive days, which for me is a very, very tall task. And I was just keeping an eye on what was going on in the world of sports through the cell phone and, a couple of episodes of SportsCenter. But all in all, a very nice time. I got bit up by mosquitoes. So if you see me kind of reaching down and scratching, everything from the knee down was just, there was one day I didn't put on repellent, and they loved me that day. But I'm healing up from that. But other than that, we're not doing too bad.
All right. Yeah. Well, you know what? We'll take it. If just a few mosquito bites and you get a tan out of it. Look, man, I step out in the sun, I get burned immediately. I'm taking tips right now of how to get a tan. I've been told to use low SPF. SPF, sunscreen or and different things like that. I just don't think
you need high SPF. Like that's what you need more than anything. Like at least at first, it's got to be a process. Actually, what helped me out was for the 2 or 3 weeks before the beach. Instead of just chilling out in the house or whatever, I'd be on the back and just trying to get some sun and trying to get some sort of base going. Because I remember what you were doing 10 years ago, basically to the day now, with that Cavs championship parade, and about how you had injuries that it took a long, long time to really heal from after a scorching day in downtown Cleveland. But yeah, start with high SPF and kind of work your way down. That's the best way to, because Nikki's hilarious. We've had 2 of these trips so far. And, she has a little Puerto Rican heritage. So she's always an elitist when it comes down to, the tans and everything like that. Like, oh, I don't need I don't need suntan lotion or this is mine. This is barely there. Or you need the since you're, white and pasty, you need the heavy SPF. We've had 2 straight trips now where I have come out looking perfect. And she has been having to fight sunburn for at least a couple of days. Last year was pretty bad. This year, not too bad, but there was definitely a day where she was, I don't need any lotion. I got a pretty good base tan 2 hours later. She was a little red. So, but other than that, mosquito bites and a little sunburn. That's our casualty report from our Hilton Head week. So not too bad otherwise.
Well, I usually the tanning thing. We have our own issues with that. I don't think. I think we're in a clear from that standpoint. I do have a question though. Do you guys prefer? Because while you were gone, Eli was complaining. 72 degrees here, a little bit chilly. Like, do you prefer 90, 95 degrees sweating bullets or mid 70s? I know
it all depends on where I'm at.
Well, like, what do you prefer?
Like, when we were on the island and everything, it was not bad. I mean, yeah, it was, those first 2 days were hot, but I mean, we were going high 80s, low, mid 80s the whole way. But when you're by the water and you got the breeze coming off, you're fine. But then we would go, like, last year we went to Savannah, and that same temperature when we went down to Savannah, Georgia, and we weren't by the water, all of a sudden it just turned into an absolute just, burning hellscape. So but for me, I'd rather be warmer. I mean, I'd rather be, high 80s, something like that than low 70s, because it was low 70s all day today. And then, with the beach and everything like that the last week, I mean, Nikki and I were wearing long pants and hoodies for most of the day.
Oh, yeah, chilly, double A, very chilly today.
No, I understand if you're by the water, okay? If you're by the beach and things like that, I get that. You want to be, if you're just at home, whatever, no, I get hot very quickly.
But the AC gets chilly, and then I got to put on like an extra layer in the house, and then I go outside, and it's just too much going on.
See, well, my thing though, I don't have central AC though.
True.
The beach life was great because, like, you'd be able to be out all day or, out by the pool or on the deck or whatever, and just open up the sliding door and just get hit with the wall of, perfectly manicured, temperatured air coming through. So that wasn't too bad. Actually, I was, one of the things I listened to while I was chilling out was a podcast with Tom Hanks on it. They were talking about the moon landing. And he said the moon landing was the greatest achievement of the 20th century, and mounted a case why the second greatest achievement was air conditioning.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
and he got serious about it too. He goes like, dude, like, we wouldn't have had population explosions in Florida and Arizona and South Texas and like all those areas we like to go vacation in right now. We wouldn't be going to nearly as much if we had to like sweat our nuts off 24 hours a day.
Yeah, but people abuse AC too, man. You walk into somebody's house, it's like 65 degrees, and it does not need to be 65 degrees in your house in the summer. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna let everybody out there know you can survive off of 70 degrees in your house. It's 68 to 70 should be where your temperature's at. 68 is like pushing it. That's like chilly. Now I got to get an extra layer on. But I think people are abusing it. People are abusing AC, man. There ain't no reason I should walk in your house and it should be colder like it's winter outside.
Well, the issue is a lot of people don't understand that heat rises. So they're trying to get their bedroom down to like a passable temperature. But what you're doing, because most bedrooms are upstairs, what you're doing though is you're turning the lower level into an ice chest, trying to get the top level cooled down a little bit.
Yeah, it's
sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. I'm kidding. No, I don't go that extreme, right? I know there are people, like if you go to a hotel, there are people who will have their AC at like 58 degrees. Bone chilling cold.
Yeah, it's like
night.
If you're not paying for it, yeah, I can see that.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, okay, if we're not gonna pay for it, that's great. But Rob, glad to have you back. Yes. From Hilton Head. And the tan is looking good. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not gonna hold you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I'm very happy about that. That's actually my favorite souvenir from the trip. So, and I do have a few. So yeah, we got a bunch of stickers and shirts and that kind of stuff. We actually got some. They got all like any shop you ever want down there. Like you can find something. The one thing I couldn't find was a baseball card shop, but everything else. Like I was in this like specialty olive oil store. So yeah, I got a bunch of stuff out of there and. Yeah, and then a couple of surf shops, grab some, clothes and stuff like that. So, yeah, we're good to go there, and I'm very happy to be back. Very happy to have actually something fun to talk about, too, to begin this program out anyway, sports-wise. We have a World Cup team that I guess the safest thing to say is greatly exceeding expectations. I know that there's some of us who are thinking that, this means, 2-0 in group stage here. Means that they have a serious chance to go all the way down to the final, but we'll see about that. World Cup final is something that is, we think a Super Bowl is hard. We think anything with the World Series is hard. World Cups are even more difficult, but nonetheless, the United States is 2-0, 4-1 against Paraguay. I believe that was that was on Friday or Saturday, I believe, when when I was going down, and then 2-0 against Australia just a couple of days ago. They have a match coming up on Thursday against Turkey at 10 p.m., that TV-friendly time. But just a couple of real quick stats here. There was no Christian Pulisic, best player on the national team. In that second game against Australia, they still won it. This is the first time they have won back-to-back games in the World Cup since 1930. That was the first one. And the kid that scored 2 goals in the first game, that was the first time an American had ever done that. So, well, actually, no, an American did that in 1930. But again, yeah, we're talking about a team that's pretty unprecedented right now, venturing into a stage of the World Cup that we're really not. I know we've made a lot of these knockout rounds, but I think this will be now 3 in a row. We're not used to being there. We are actually already clinched. I do want to say that out there. It's us, Mexico, and Germany that are clinched. And Tunisia, Haiti, and Turkey, the team that we have on Thursday, those are the 3 teams that will not be going as of right now. So, yeah, just a lot of fun with this World Cup and a lot of hope and optimism in a sport that we are not used to having hope and optimism in.
Yeah, no, absolutely. A lot of people even were worried about Pulisic when his injury happened, that the USA may drop that game because of how much he means. Obviously, as a leader of that team. But Balogun's been exciting. I mean, yeah, like you mentioned, Rob, the 2 goals in the opener. He's a striker. We had our guy Ben Bales talking on Inside Edge Prime Time about what he brings to Team USA. Omar's even highlighted how when he made his signing to Team USA, it was one of the bigger signings really of recent memory because of how much he impacts the offensive side of the game here, right? So I think he's been awesome. Pulisic, obviously, getting back to full strength is going to be important for Team USA to advance further than what teams are pundits and experts are expecting, which is the round of 16, the knockout stage, and maybe that's it. But this team does have a lot of moxie right now, and they're very aggressive on the field. Omar's highlighted the different changes in soccer or football, whatever you want to call it. But, you see the different changes, and even Australia getting a little rowdy with the USA team there the other night. I just think it's real good for right now, bringing the elevation of soccer on the world stage, and the fact that Team USA is doing well may inspire the next generation, depending how far they go, may inspire the next generation to want to pick up a pair of cleats and a soccer ball and take it that way. We've talked about how soccer kind of gets downplayed here in the United States to obviously football, basketball, baseball, even at times hockey. I think something like this, a run like this, could really influence the next generation. So it's been really cool to see.
Well, keep in mind, this is a country too that had, and I'll just real quick. I think it was 1954 to early 50s to the early 80s. We didn't put a team up. This is something that we kind of ignored while the Yankees were winning most of their world titles in the 60s. This was something we basically ignored.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and Double A, we've talked about it here a little bit over the past with Omar in the past week, just about how important this Team USA's run is. I think it's really started to catch momentum because obviously after game 1, I was like, all right, look, I'm ready for the knockout round. But I've been leaning towards embracing where this cup's been going. Omar and I were out this past weekend. We'll talk about it on the morning show tomorrow here in the Inside Edge Network at 10 a.m. And we'll be discussing about the weekend. I mean, there was a point in time where we were in a bar in Lakewood. And he's like, dude, I don't think we're leaving until after this Japan-Tunisia game finishes. And I was like, Omar, we're gonna have to we gotta go back. It's 40 minutes away. We gotta drive back home. But nonetheless, it's been really exciting, Double A, and I think you and I and Rob, as casual fans, have at least enjoyed what this World Cup's brought, especially on the USA side.
I'll go beyond casual here on my end. Any analysis from me about soccer will not come from knowledge. It's not going to come from X's and O's. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, all right, this player needs to be at this spot. They need to attack. They need to do. What I see with my eyes is that Team USA is getting off to fast starts, aggressive starts. I think the first matchup, it was out of a hydration break. We're taking full advantage of early opportunities and getting that separation. Rob, the thing that stands out to me, and, Omar did bring this up, a good chunk of our roster plays competitively in England. I think you mentioned, 17 players play competitively in England. 9 that were in the starting lineup of the first matchup played there. So you got the term we use for other sports that we regularly cover, you have battle-tested individuals who understand the importance of big-time matchups. So they're going into these matchups very aggressively, and I'm very proud of what I'm seeing. When you're watching something and you have no clue how to analyze it beyond, are we doing well or not? I'm very proud that not only are we doing well, but it looks like, and it seems in the 2 matchups, that we're dictating pace. And that's all you ask for in any sporting event. This has been fantastic.
I was going to say that's what I think a lot of the and believe me, I'm learning a lot about the game too as we're going here. I don't want to pretend that either one of the 3 of us are, the second coming of Landon Donovan here.
Yeah.
Well, I have a full head of hair, so I would not be convinced with Landon Donovan.
Well, yeah, I mean, we can talk about that later.
Oh, you are a-hole for that. Oh, no.
But what I'm gathering is that, up until this year, the U.S. has not really played a proactive style. Has not really played an aggressive style. And to your point, Double A, the aggressiveness on offense, the aggressiveness to kind of, keep kind of going with these scoring opportunities is something that we really haven't seen out of Team USA. The other thing too out of this is that and to tell you how unprecedented the success is, the manager of the team, Pochettino, I think is how you say his name. And again, this is kind of how novice we are. He's already tied for the most World Cup wins for any manager in U.S. history.
Amazing.
Yeah,
with 2. And again, first back-to-back wins since 1930. And we are getting a lot more players that are being featured internationally. I think what Pulisic is, I think he plays for the English Premier League along with all those guys out there. What the dude who scored 2 goals for us, actually, the only reason why he's playing for the States is because his parents were on vacation at the right time. They wouldn't let his mom board a plane back to England because she was very, very pregnant and ended up having the baby in New York City. And that gave him the deal to, be able to play for the States. So I think another one on the team, his dad is the president of Liberia. So, I mean, we definitely have an international flavor on this team when it comes down to the origins and where these guys are playing. And this golden generation that's been touted for, it seems like almost 8 years now. The culmination of U.S. soccer being on its home soil and being able to do this in front of its home fans, where this team had a lot of question marks going in. I don't think they even knew who the goalie was going to be before the whole tournament even started. So, this team, were they playing possum? Had they gotten lucky, or was this kind of the plan all along? I don't know. But the U.S. is in a very good spot. If everything holds right now, they will be the top seed on their side of the bracket. So in theory, they should have the easiest path to MetLife Stadium and the World Cup final, which, again, if that happens in this country, that would be amazing to see the reaction here. And that would be something that, they've been talking about soccer becoming a big thing since I was a kid. I played in 2nd grade, and that's what I was hearing. if they get to a Final Four or to a Final Two of the World Cup, let alone win the thing, that'll be enough to catapult a generation of U.S. soccer, maybe even two.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We got Omar chiming in here from the morning show host here on the Inside Edge Network. He believes that we will win, and that's kind of been the energy. Rob and Double A right now has been just a true fandom. A lot of people weren't necessarily thinking of the World Cup, but they weren't thinking about World Baseball Classic either. But I do believe this is a lot stronger than where the World Baseball Classic is, and it's bringing together people that want to just root for the country and put whatever, just have a good time too. I mean, there's a lot of people just vibing out, no matter what country you're from. People are just vibing out, man. It's like I don't even drink anymore, and I think I'd be just partying with these guys like I was.
It's been fun to watch, and obviously we're talking about all the U.S. and foreign fans alike. I know we're not doing what we've learned, but I think what the three of us, along with the rest of the country, is learning is how seriously the rest of the world takes this tournament. This is the tournament of, if you like what Tunisia, I think it was they drew a shutout, and it was Curacao, got their first World Cup point. It was a 0-0 tie. Mm-hmm. And they had the monarchy in the locker room popping bottles like Cash Patel. That's how big, you score one goal, especially when some of these countries that are, 5-10 million people in total that are smaller than New York City population. You are a national hero for the rest of your life. You are Matthew Dellavedova in Cleveland for the rest of your life.
Yeah. Yeah, it's incredible.
Now, here's the thing, because, Rob, you just kind of said it. We're finding out how much the rest of the world is taking this seriously. We are the heels of this story, ladies and gentlemen. Us, America, we are the heels here. We're the bad guys.
I don't know if we are. Because to be the heels, think any good heel wrestler, they occasionally won some matches. We've been Steve Lombardi, Brooklyn Brawler, getting our asses kicked for the last 25 years. I don't know if you could really be a heel in that situation.
That's where you're wrong, Rozycki, and I'm right there with Double A, because we may not have won a lot of matches, but we're being propped up as the golden era of USA soccer right now, and we're basically the golden boys running around in the back. You know what happens when you run around in the back? You got the X thrown up because there's major heat going on.
The X. No. But here's the thing. You're both right. We don't have the history. We don't have whatever. And this is kind of the right time. And this is you got cute stories. Home. You're finally winning something. This is great. Well, here's what's going to happen. I was talking about this over the weekend, talking with you guys before the show. If we win the World Cup, there's a lot of significance here. I know, yes, X's and O's, fine.
Uh-huh.
We're going to need the rest of the world to call this sport the name of this sport, which is soccer. Soccer.
You and Alexi Lawless, huh?
Soccer. We win this bad boy. We win this World Cup. The rest of the world calls it soccer. There's a ton at stake. If we go to the final, we win this thing. There's a lot at stake.
But what happens if we lose?
Play, yeah, the rest of the countries do not want to F with us.
Double A. What happens if we lose? Are we calling soccer football here?
No. We'll still do what we want. No, that's not about.
No. In actuality, I believe soccer is, and it's funny that we use it over here, and the rest of the world, hates us for using it. It's actually, I believe, an English term.
Yeah.
It kind of came out of the old, Cockney slang where you start combining words and you use a lot of euphemisms. What it came from was association football. And if you look at the first few letters of association, it's basically ASOC. And that kind of got shortened to soccer, that kind of thing. So it kind of came out of Cockney London. So, yeah, you can blame the Brits. I guess you can blame the Brits for this whole country, too. But you can blame the Brits for that word and, kind of being a part of the lexicon.
All right. Well, hey, if Double A gets his wish, he'll be walking with Team USA, having them change the name of their sport.
July 19th, Eli, July 19th. We're putting up that trophy. And it's like, oh, America. Oh, you don't know what this means. You don't know what this means because we're going to come out. We're going to say we're the home of soccer.
Yeah.
We're the home we've done anything in the past.
Oh, by the way, I think I figured out how we're going to be the villains. When you're talking about, I just got the trophy presentation in my head and what I'm picturing it right now. Do you know who is presenting the trophy?
I do not.
The leader of the host country.
Sorry. I have neighbors. Put his name on the trophy.
Well, you already got a Peace Prize.
That's
right. Yeah. But, and apparently, by the way, too, if anybody knows a good pool guy, I would throw a business card over at the White House. I did get that bit of news, by the way. So, yeah, that whole thing went to shit. The entire time I was on vacation was the span of that story. It was kind of fun to watch.
Do you think you got a good joy out of that story?
Well, that and we're going to go to break soon. And the other one that I loved too was that I went to I was spent 7 days in Hilton Head, and in that time they negotiated, signed the peace deal, and the peace deal has already fallen to shit. So the entire time I was it didn't even last. My Hilton Head vacation was the peace deal we signed with that with Iran. So yeah, we're doing really good. It looks to be on international affairs here.
I know we got to go to break. My question is, we'll go into break. Can we get Will Ferrell maybe? He's a big sports guy. Do you think we get Will Ferrell to do the trophy celebration if USA gets it home? Hey, here's somebody we do claim as our own. He's funny. He's got some really funny movies. Check him out here in the States. And then he's kind of invested in sports, kind of. And he's not.
Well, I mean, there's some. Oh man, there's more than a few people we could probably use on that one. I mean, anybody affiliated with Ted Lasso, I'm sure we could probably use for that.
You get him. Yeah.
If it was 5 years ago, I'd say we all pretty much assumed 5 years ago that we all wanted to just select The Rock to be the American spokesperson and everything. I don't know if that holds up now. If Will Ferrell did it as Ron Burgundy, I think I'd be amazed with it. Either that, or if we could pull Hank Azaria as Brockmeyer, I think that'd be great too.
Either that or Steve Carell, but he has to play his Brick. He has to play his Brick from freaking Anchorman. Ted Lasso for sure, absolutely, Omar.
By the way, to our guy Bellino, because yes, I know it's a long tournament, I get it, but the second part, we're not. It's not the Special Olympics of soccer anymore. We're in this bad boy. This is good that we're in this thing.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I mean Turkey, and I don't think it'll take a expert to think that we should be able to take care of that pretty easily, considering they're one of the three teams that are out of the tournament right now. That they have just not had a great tournament. But yeah, once we start getting to that knockout stage, and even with that, it's going to be easier to win a knockout game this year than it has been in years past. Back in the day, it was a 16-team tournament. Right. This is doubled. It's 32 now. So in theory, yeah, that first round, you probably should get a team you should beat. But yeah, when you start getting to the round of 16, to the round of 8, to the round of 4, to the round of 2, then yeah, you're going to be facing some real competition here. And we're going to find out if this American team can hold up. I would say not this game, maybe not that first knockout game, but definitely that round of 16. I would think that's going to be, the true litmus test on, is this team for real or not?
I feel like a New York fan when they are Philly, when they're chanting for the Knicks, they're like, we want New York, I'm like, we want Messi, come on. We want Messi, come on.
Let's not go that far yet.
Yeah, Knicks fans, they're not having a good look right now. I'm not having a fan pass out and then get revived and then try to make out with a woman after being passed out. I think we're good.
It was love at first sight.
Love at only sight. Put us behind back down.
Love Island.
Rob, take us.
All right, so we're going to go to break now. This is the main event on the Inside Edge net. We got AA Anthony Alford, Eli Moon. I'm Rob Rozycki. Talking a little World Cup. Up next, we'll get back to more American conventional sports, and with that being said, we're going to talk gambling. Brendan Sorsby looks like he will be entering he wants to enter the supplemental draft. We'll see if the NFL allows that to happen. We'll get into that. We'll also get into what this means for the Browns. I think Eli and AA were both kind of happy that under the old situation that this was not going to be the Browns' problem this year. Unfortunately, things have not worked out in the Browns' favor. I'm sure we're used to that, though. But yeah, we'll get into that. Also, too, we got some guards talk. And then, Giannis could be on the move. And I would venture to guess that by the next time we talk next week, he will be playing for another team. We'll get into that and then figure out what we've learned and then get you on your way to start your week up right here. This is Sunday night. This is the main event on the Inside Edge Net. I am Rob Rozycki. We got AA Anthony Alford, Eli Moon. We'll be back.
Key On Sports is the leader in Ohio high school athletic coverage in written, print, and video streaming. From the latest news and results and written content to the high school football game of the week every Friday, Key On Sports has you covered. The vision of 15-time published author Vince McKee has become the most trusted site in Ohio high school athletic news. From podcasts to player profiles, Key On Sports is your one-stop for all of it. Visit them today at keyonsports.com or on YouTube at Key On Sports. Check out their socials on Twitter and Facebook as well.
Clean energy, bold flavors, and no jitters. See why people won't shut up about Dubby. Clean energy, no jitters or crash. Whether you're starting your workday or getting ready to exercise, Dubby Energy helps you lock in and focus. With over 15 flavors to choose from, you can't miss. Order Dubby Energy right now by using the QR code on your screen and use the promo code InsideEdge10 to receive 10% off your order. Dubby Energy, your energy-focused sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Discover our collection of body mists made with clean, minimal ingredients. Handcrafted with natural essential oils and clean ingredients, they offer a natural alternative to synthetic fragrances. Perfect for sensitive skin and those seeking clean, mindful self-care, and the perfect gift for you or your special someone. Courtesy of Alley Rose Fragrances. First-time customers, use that promo code InsideEdge20 to receive 20% off your order. AlleyRoseFragrances.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Whether searching for a baseball autographed by your favorite World Series slugger, a signed football by an iconic Hall of Famer, or the jersey of a world-famous soccer star, you've come to the right place. Here at sportsmemorabilia.com, the web's leading source of authentic sports memorabilia, you'll find more than 500,000 authentic products from nearly every professional sports league, team, and players. Not only will you find your next prized sports possession with ease thanks to superb customer service and tremendous site experience, you'll have the satisfaction and peace of mind that every product listed comes complete with a certificate of authenticity and is fully backed by the sportsmemorabilia.com lifetime authenticity guarantee. Go to sportsmemorabilia.com by using the QR code on your screen right now. Sportsmemorabilia.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Podcast Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Find us on InsideEdgeNetwork.com for the latest information on your favorite shows, personalities, and network partners. Plus, guess what? We have a merch shop. That's right, we have network polos, t-shirts, champion jackets, hats, and bottles. Rep the network. Every purchase supports independent sports and entertainment media. Use the QR code on your screen right now to check out InsideEdgeNetwork.com. That's InsideEdgeNetwork.com. Fanatics isn't just our name, it's who we are. Loyal, passionate fans dedicated to our favorite teams and to the sports we love. That's why we're honored to be able to offer fans the world's largest collection of official sports apparel and sports jerseys from all leagues, teams, and players you love. We feature a wide selection of gear from every league, including the NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL, and NCAA merchandise, which allows us to serve fans of football, baseball, hockey, basketball, lacrosse, soccer, golf, and, well, everything else that gets your heart pumping. Go to Fanatics.com by using the QR code on your screen right now to celebrate your teams. That's Fanatics.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader.
Small business owners are superheroes, but nowadays running your business means doing so inside your shop and on social media. That's why you should make Omega Video Marketing your sidekick.
With a decade of content creation experience, I create dynamic, informative, and fun videos for your specific social needs that will increase brand awareness, get you more followers, and keep your social pages and websites current and fresh.
I offer flexible pricing and turn times and will work with you to understand your brand and your story. All of that comes from the heart. My award-winning expertise is just the cherry on top. So let's get connected. After all, your brand is the alpha and my expertise is the omega.
Discover our collection of handcrafted candles. That's right, every product is thoughtfully created in small batches free from harmful toxins for mindful everyday indulgence. Our candles are hand-poured in coconut soy wax with natural wood wicks, offering a long-lasting burn and rich fragrances. Create a cozy, safe ambiance for your home with candles from Alley Rose Fragrances. First-time customers use the promo code InsideEdge20 to receive 20% off your order. AlleyRoseFragrances.com, proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Podcast Network. Mosser Moments Photography is a husband and wife wedding photography team based in Cleveland, owned and operated by Inside Edge Network's very own Ryan Mosser and his wife Hallie. For the past 10 years, they've captured more than 100 weddings across Northeast Ohio and beyond, always working together as a true two-person team. Their style centers on authentic, emotional storytelling, documenting the real moments between two people in love and creating images that feel natural, comfortable, and true to the couple. Rooted in Northern Ohio but inspired by their travels, Ryan and Hallie bring a warm, personal approach to every wedding day. Their work blends experience, consistency, and a genuine passion for helping couples relive their best day through timeless photography. Learn more at MosserMomentsPhotography.com by using the QR code on your screen right now. MosserMomentsPhotography.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader.
Welcome back to the main event here on the Inside Edge Net. We got Double A, we got Eli Moon. I am Rob Rozycki. Happy to have you this Sunday evening, especially after a Sunday off. But yes, we spent a lot of time on the World Cup. Yes, that's probably one of the more positive sports stories going right now. Honestly, it is rekindling a lot of the reasons why I love sports. So naturally, let's move to another topic that is the complete opposite of that. We have the next ongoing chapter of the Brendan Sorsby saga that is now moved to the NFL after the quarterback has officially entered entered consideration for the supplemental draft. His career in college is over, ending a fight that was pitting conference commissioners, colleges, state attorney generals, Congress people, everybody and everything, federal judges. They have now, all of those rulings have been for naught. He is moving on to the NFL. There's two ways we can look at this. We'll look at the first, the first way first. That's probably, that's going to be probably a new Fox Sports show pretty soon. The first one is, what does this mean to the NCAA? What does this mean for the NFL in general? What does this mean for Brendan Sorsby specifically? Because this has been a 5-star hot button mess pretty much since he came out, a few months ago and said he had checked himself into gambling rehab and all of this thing started.
Yeah, this whole thing is an absolute mess. I mean, you hit it right on the head, Rob. The fact that we're having a discussion about this guy where he really ultimately is has people questioning the sanctity of sport. And I've talked about it here on the network over the course of the past week about Brendan Sorsby, and I've seen different media outlets and pundits and fans saying, maybe fans are just overreacting. Fans of any team, not even just Cleveland, like any team is overreacting. Why wouldn't they want to take a chance on a first-round talent, a guy that has so much potential? Let me think here. I got a few reasons. Number one is because he's the locker room leader of your team. And when you're looking at the offensive side of things, sure, maybe you have a guy in defense that speaks up a little louder, has a little bit more bark in his voice, but offensively, they look towards the quarterback. There's never been any successful Super Bowl winning team that goes, yeah, and our offense on leader was our wide receiver. It just hasn't happened. And you know what? Maybe I'll be wrong one day. It just has not happened. But Brendan Sorsby would ultimately walk in and become the face on offense, somebody that would have to be the leader of whatever team it is that he is stepping into that locker room. And I don't know if he's ready for that. Heck, the dude wasn't even ready to handle this responsibly. What's there to say he gets a whole, let's just say he goes to Arizona, for example. I know we'll talk Cleveland Browns here in a moment, but it's like, say he goes to Arizona for, and all of a sudden Marvin Harrison's plus money is at 70 receiving yards. And now we see Marvin Harrison targeted a few more times than he typically is. And Marvin Harrison's a good guy. He's a great receiver. But there's something fishy around it. And all it takes is for this bad stench from college football to travel into the NFL. And now it stenchifies, essentially, for the lack of better words, what the NFL is doing. And it creates a bigger mess. We see what's going on in the NBA with guys that have been established in the NBA. Damon Jones, Terry Rozier, those guys, Chauncey Billups. Why would we be giving a 20-something, and I am a 20-something-year-old, so I can say that. Why would we be giving a 20-something-year-old another opportunity? And with the quick turnaround to AA, that throws me off too, because they have to do the supplemental draft before July 16th, on or before July 16th. July 16th is a week before training camp. So you're telling me that the leader of your football team is waiting in the wings. He has fallen from grace. He's now in the supplemental draft. And you're going to trot him out, give him a few weeks of training camp, preseason, and he's ready to go. Again, we'll talk about the Cleveland Browns situation. I don't know if any bad team, which is where these teams are going to be looking, bad teams, quarterback-hungry teams, they're typically bad when that's the case. Why would they want to bring that in and try to fast route this guy?
Because some feel that he's loaded with talent and that is worth it. And, the NFL, you're starving for good talent across the board. That's why I think there's a good chance all 32 teams will be represented at his pro day on July 10th, just outside of Dallas. Like, there's a good chance that's going to happen. I think there's a few things to look at this too. First off, on the gambling, I know people look and say like, well, he only betted on his own team. Again, the problem, if you're involved with practice and you're game planning against another team, right then and there, you have insider information. You have game film that us in the public, we don't have. We don't have access to the all 22 cam. I don't care if you have an NFL Plus account. We still don't have all of those things. We don't know, like, if you're on scouts and you're in that locker room, know game planning wise how you're going to go against the other team. Who's
going to play. Who's day game time decisions. You probably know where that's going to lean.
And to Eli's point about Marvin Harrison, you might know if Marvin Harrison is going to be involved in the game plan that week. And then the next week, he may not be involved with the game plan. And you could place your bets leaning that way. So it's little things like that that's a huge problem. And then my biggest concern, too, and I'm only saying this because Rob and Eli, we're talking about leading an NFL franchise. I'm not talking about day-to-day, everyday life. The turnaround time for me between just recently completing the rehab program, gambling, like recently, and then overcoming the bad habits of gambling, I would be cool if you were doing a regular day-to-day job. But if you're leading an NFL franchise, billions of dollars at stake, I don't feel that that's a quick enough. I think the turnaround time is too quick, in my opinion, Rob, to fully show that you're healed from gambling.
Well, and the other thing is with its quick turnaround time, this was something that was addressed when Terrell Pryor and Jim Tressel left Ohio State. It was perceived that, especially Pryor, was doing it to avoid any college football punishment. So the NFL came in with a punishment for him, and they also, I think with the show cause deal for Tressel, he couldn't coach in the NFL for 4 years, and that's why he's lieutenant governor now. So that's happened before. I wouldn't be shocked if the NFL does try to weigh some sort of punishment in there. If it is, you're going to sit out for a year. Honestly, I think, probably from a prospect standpoint, sitting out for a year would probably be a pretty good idea for Sorsby. But, to Double A's thing, this isn't an everyday job. There is a lot of jobs out there that there are some unforgivable rules. The unforgivable curses in Harry Potter, that kind of thing. Like if you're a airline pilot and you get a DUI, you probably can't fly planes anymore.
Yeah, you probably don't want it.
Right.
If you're a cop and you get arrested on, and go to prison for a felony charge, you're probably not going to be a cop again.
Right.
Like there are things that, with certain jobs you can't do. Like if you're an alcoholic, probably not a good idea to be a bartender. There's just certain, things that don't line up with certain jobs. And the one thing we've proven in pro sports that we can handle domestic violence, we can handle attempted murder, we can handle murder, we can handle abusing children. The one thing you can't do, and while simultaneously be a professional athlete, is gamble on your team or gamble on the sport in general. Because I know you guys are using the Arizona example. I'll use that one here. Nothing even has to happen. No bets have to be made. No agreements have to be, like, it could just be a normal game. And if Sorsby targets Marvin Harrison 12 times because he wanted to throw it 12 times to Marvin Harrison, you're going to have everybody on social media, on TV going, well, what was the over-under for targets? What was the over-under for this? If he has a bad game with 4 interceptions, which rookie quarterbacks tend to do, who aren't betting on anything, you're going to have people out there that are wondering, oh, well, did the bookies get to him? What was the over-under on turnovers? So there's going to be, we were facing the same thing with Class A and everything here in town. Like, if he were ever to pitch in the major leagues again, any bad pitch, any questionable decision, like God forbid if he were to do like what Tarek Skubal did and hike the ball between his legs to first base, any sort of little thing, he could be living a lifestyle as pure as Pope Francis, right, or Pope Leo right now.
Yeah,
and there would be people that would be asking questions. So, does the team want to bring that on? Does the league want to bring that on? Does this is a thing that if the public is now convinced it's not on the up and up, everybody has to go home.
Yeah, and the other thing is too, Rozycki, to be honest with you, I talked about it on the morning show with Omar, I believe on Friday, because he got me all pissed off about Brendan Sorsby. And I the other question we have to ask here too is Brendan Sorsby ready to handle the pressure? We're talking about the pressure that's going to come here and the eyes on this and the eyes on the gambling situation. Is he going to be able
he's
to
not a normal
that?
Rookie quarterback.
Like, is he going to be able to handle that? Because I tend to believe that not only sports outlets, but news outlets, entertainment outlets, everything that is going to want a soundbite on Brendan Sorsby, the most popular quarterback in the NFL at that point, because of all the buzz that has traveled through Lubbock all the way, in his little spring vacation or whatever, over, winter and fall in Lubbock, and now he's going to the NFL. Is he going to be able to handle that pressure? On top of the pressure of being potentially the starting quarterback for an NFL franchise, can you handle the extra pressure of your every move is being watched and you basically are on a redemption story until you're not? I mean, that is the severity of it. Guys have been followed, like to your point, Rob, on other serious issues, they've been followed. Now, it hasn't been hammered home as much, and I still think there needs to be stronger discipline on some of the things that some of these players are getting away with. But they've had to answer questions. You're very familiar with the guy. I'm not saying you personally, but in Pittsburgh, Ben Roethlisberger, like the stench that carried there in Pittsburgh for a minute, even like throughout his career, there are guys that have that career stench to them in a way that they can't really shed from the media. Brendan Sorsby hasn't played a single snap in the NFL. He already has a stench that's stronger than most NFL players right now of why we should stay away from him. If you're a Cleveland Brown organization, or if you're a team that is trying to reshape, that is the last thing you need. What is better, in my opinion? What is better? Option A, being bad and getting an option at the 27 draft class that has a ton of names we've talked about, or option B, taking Brendan Sorsby and setting yourself back 2-3 years because now you have to look at maybe drafting another guy, but you may not be bad enough. I just think I take option A. I don't think that's crazy enough to think you stay away from this guy.
Are you looking at it from the standpoint of the overall NFL, or are you looking at it from a Brown standpoint?
I'm looking at an overall NFL standpoint. The only teams that could get away with this AA are teams that have won Super Bowls, are in that position where they have a quarterback that is not going to be losing his starting job. You don't bring in Brendan Sorsby into a quarterback competition or, hey, he's our guy. We are so proud of him. You don't do that.
No, you have to treat him like a top 10 pick. Like the job's his. That's how you have to treat him.
He would be your Ty Simpson. He would be your succession plan to Matthew Stafford.
That'd be
what they're doing in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I think the Browns thing, and I know we're going to talk from the Browns perspective in the next segment. The issue you might be looking at with Cleveland, I don't think Cleveland is going to bottom out. I do not see things can happen. I don't see a scenario where Cleveland's only going to win 1 or 2 games. They might be in that 5, 6, 7 win range. And if they are, you may not get that ideal 2027 diamond in the rough quarterback. So that might be part of it. But here's the bigger question to the both of you. Okay, so we'll bring it home to Cleveland. I know we could talk, other quarterbacks, but let's bring it home in Cleveland. Would you rather handle, after everything we've gone through with Deshaun Watson, does this situation seem more manageable?
If you're Cleveland, that gives you 3 straight quarterbacks where the off-field bluster was 10 times louder than the on-field. You can make, I'm not trying to dog Shedeur. I'm not trying to be a hater on this one. Don't please come after me. But, Shedeur had the most attention on him in any quarterback out of that last draft, even though he was a 5th-round pick, even though he did not play the whole season. It was still a sideshow. And then obviously Deshaun Watson, for completely different reasons that were more his fault, was a sideshow too. And, you also look at the fact you got a brand new head coach, brand new offensive coordinator, brand new defensive coordinator. You don't have Myles Garrett there anymore. You're really, you don't have a whole lot of seasoned veteran leadership there. And even look at the quarterback room. What are your 2 vets are Gabriel and Sanders. Wow. I mean, to Eli's point, normally, these teams that, that bring a guy like this in have a stronger clubhouse, have a stronger locker room, organization in general. I mean, that's why I think the Steelers were able to handle the shitstorm through Ben Roethlisberger because, and to your point, the last team that I can remember where the offensive leader was not the quarterback, Hines Ward in that Super Bowl team with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Right.
Because because they had the locker room. The Browns don't have the locker room. Actually, the Steelers right now, I know they have a brand new head coach. That's closer to a situation that you're probably looking at with a stronger organization that it doesn't have quite the turnover, that doesn't have the inconsistencies, that has more of a steady leadership. But yeah, if I'm the Browns, man, I honestly don't know if I want to jump into another controversial quarterback again. And by the way, all 3 of those controversial quarterbacks would be on the roster together.
They would
be,
and you could even add, I know you're not, but you could make a case that Baker Mayfield could be a part of that conversation too. A quarterback that brings noise to your locker room.
Yeah, deep down, do they want like Matt Ryan? Like he's just going to look like a club pro golfer and play quarterback and not piss anybody off.
But let's be clear though, and I understand your point, Rob, but Shedeur Sanders is the furthest thing away from the noise that Brendan Sorsby and Deshaun Watson have brought.
No, yeah.
Let's.
I think a lot of Sanders' problems weren't his fault. Exactly. I think that was, that's why I was trying to preface this. I'm not trying to hate on him. I'm not trying to make him seem like he's a bad guy.
Sanders can't be a backup here if Sorsby's here.
Correct. And that's where I'm getting at.
That will not work.
And
there's
that's what I'm
too
getting
much
at.
Noise.
Exactly. To call it back, to what I was saying earlier in the week, you got to weigh it out if you're the Cleveland Browns. Do you really want to walk into training camp, draft Sorsby? Let's hypothetically draft Sorsby. Like Double A, we've talked about here on the network. Shedeur Sanders is probably gone. If you got your Shedeur Sanders jersey, I'm sorry. You might as well try to see if you can convert it to a different color, maybe purple or whatever. I mean, maybe Minnesota. Who knows where he goes? But at the end of the day, the Browns have to ask themselves, are you ready? Like Rob has brought up, and like you've brought up as well, Double A. Are the Browns ready with all first year, damn near everything? Are they ready to bring in a quarterback room of Brendan Sorsby, who's going to have to be babysat and hey, don't worry, I know you're going through a lot right now, but we got you. Or Deshaun Watson? Or do we want to look at Shedeur Sanders? And again, I'll continue to stress it. Take the opportunity on a 5th-round rookie deal. A team-friendly deal. Take advantage. See what the guy's got. He is doing everything right, man. I understand he's had a few moments. He also is a rookie. We've been talking about the rookie blunders and whatnot, the mime thing, you know, when he talked to reporters but really didn't talk to reporters. Okay, you can give him that, I guess, and a few other things. But people just love to hate Shedeur Sanders because his last name is Sanders. If his last name was whatever, anything, Miller or whatever, he wouldn't be getting the same type of talk. And that's what it comes down to. Shedeur Sanders is doing everything right this offseason. He's the first one in, last one out. He's on the Browns Twitter. They make sure to highlight him. Todd Monken letting it be known that they wanted him in Baltimore. He's sitting there learning the playbook, shaking hands with the fans, being a community leader. I mean, he's doing a barbershop competition. I get it. I understand it's not always the little things, but he's doing like a barbershop competition here in Cleveland to like involve himself more in the community. The guy is doing everything that you would expect out of a guy who's expecting to be here for the next 10, 15 years, not just a quick stop to where he goes to a playoff contending team and really starts his career. You got to give him the opportunity, because if you're the Browns, you just look so freaking foolish. And I understand they have since 1999 for the majority of AA and I's lives. You know, we have looked foolish, but you have to ask yourself, are you really going to do this? Are you going to go into from 2018 on, Baker Mayfield? Okay, you had that, then, you know, it didn't work out. So now we brought in Deshaun Watson. We know how that's gone. Now you have a myriad of quarterbacks in between there that got some time. Joe Flacco, Jeff Driscoll. I mean, the name goes on and on. Then you draft two quarterbacks last year, Shedeur Sanders and Dylan Gabriel. And now you're telling me we're going to go load another one in? Bro, I understand that it's a cool thing to do and all that. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results. And that's what the Browns are doing here. Nurture what you have in the damn building already and figure out what you got before you keep moving on to the next project. Because here's the thing, the 27 draft class isn't going away. It's going to be there in April. And I understand your point, Double. They may not be they may be more 5 to 7 range. They may not get the guy. Then why the hell has Andrew Berry been making all these draft capital moves? If 27's been their draft class, they've been looking at it, wouldn't they be able to move up in that draft class and go get their guy? If they really wanted to, they could give the farm. They've been acquiring all this draft capital. Wouldn't you look at that point and go, hey, all of what we've already acquired from the Travis Hunter trade, from the last moving down this past draft, plus, hey, we got a few more shiny draft picks in our back pocket because of Myles Garrett going in Los Angeles. Wouldn't you look at that?
Eli, I am 1,000% in agreement with you.
Yeah.
My fear is that it's not going to play out that way. That's my fear.
I get
my
it.
fear is Rob, I don't think that even though Shedeur Sanders has greatly shown improvement in this camp, based on everything I've seen and how the Browns have operated, I don't feel that they believe Shedeur is their future. I think, in my opinion, and I hope Eli's 1,000% right. My fear is that they're going to ride out Deshaun Watson and figure this thing out and try to figure this out one last time, and then they have Sorsby in their back pocket.
Well, I think with Watson, there's an element of we're paying him anyway, so we might as well figure out what we have. Now, I don't know how. I mean, again, we're talking 5 years. Like the last time pre-pandemic was the last time he was having a season. So I don't know about that one. I just don't like the lack of patience that these guys have had pretty much under Andrew Berry the whole way. I mean, lack of patience is what got you away from Baker and got you into Deshaun.
Yep.
And, at this rate now, lack of patience is probably going to, to your point, make you fold the Shedeur Sanders handle probably a little earlier than you should.
Sorry to jump in real quick. The only person they've been patient with, Rob, has been Deshaun Watson.
Well, the paycheck, the $240 guaranteed $1 million, I think has a lot to do with that. They have to be patient. But yeah, I think what it is right now is you have an organization that is so desperately looking for a quarterback. Never mind, they had one with Baker, I thought. But they are so desperate to find something right now. I don't know how many years Andrew Berry has of not finding the quarterback until he's finally fired. I would think it's not that long. So they're willing to burn anything down, to build any sort of previous work down and throw it out the window to see if they can get that get rich quick scheme going right now. They're trying to get something for nothing. They want to have the quarterback that you plug in, that you never have to really coach up. That's just the guy. The Mahomes, the Matt Staffords of the world. That just makes sense the second that they're underneath center. The problem is about 3 of those come every generation, and the Browns don't have one.
Right.
And I just don't. This is a mess. It really, really is. And it really is turning me off on the way that if they go after Sorsby, like every bad feeling that we had with Deshaun when they grabbed him, all of that stuff was rumor. All of that stuff was accusations. Technically, this is cut and dry. This is, kind of and by the way, the one question I did want to ask with Sorsby specifically, he was betting his freshman and sophomore year at Indiana, correct? And then at Cincinnati. He didn't turn 21 until last year. Why isn't anybody asking him about placing illegal bets in the state of Indiana or the state of Ohio? Because the gambling age is 21.
Dude, I mean, there's so many problems with this story, bro. And it's like
there's no accountability. Like, there's none. Like, he just said, "Oh, I fucked up. Moving on."
Right,
and
I only spent $90,000 on bets.
Yeah, I mean, well, and that's the side effect of now giving these guys some serious NIL money. And I guess the only to wrap up the Sorsby thing, though, and this isn't even a Browns thing. I think the thing that we can look at with college football, bigger scope is, with accountability and stuff like that, the NCAA just doesn't matter. The NCAA is useless. It is tits on a bowl. Like, it's and I don't honestly understand why any school, like anybody who self-reported in the last couple of years, they must feel stupid, because all you had to do was put an injunction in there and just say, okay, we can do whatever we want. You have coaches now in college that's like, I should have been teaching my kids how to gamble. Because let's face this too, that the reason why a lot of these schools were pissed, it wasn't because they were noble and they wanted to do things the right way. It's because they didn't have a chance to do it themselves. That's why. Like,
and Rozycki, I got to get one thing off my chest here before we go to break too, because I know we're going to talk, a little bit baseball later on and some other exciting stuff. I got to get this off my chest. You said something that really stood out to me. How many times are we going to give Andrew Barry the opportunity to find the quarterback? Now, I will say this: time's ticking, because if they make the pick of Brendan Sorsby, there is no discussion about giving this guy a 27 draft class opportunity. Sorsby experiment explodes in a year. There is no talk about Andrew Barry having 2 good draft classes the last 2 years. Or I could care less. He could have nailed every other position on the field, and I couldn't care less, because every good to great championship team has had a quarterback at the helm. We had one. We've talked about it, and you can have your opinions about Baker Mayfield all you like. Pretty sure he's been doing pretty well. Won a few division titles. Could have won another one last year. Probably will be in position to win one this year in the NFC South. And we are sitting here now having a discussion about Brendan Sorsby. So, Andrew Barry, I hope you hear me loud and clear right here on the Inside Edge Network. If you make the pick of Brendan Sorsby, that is your guy. That is your draft. We won't hold you accountable anymore for Dylan Gabriel. He was a 3rd-round pick. Okay. Shedeur Sanders, you found the value, 5th-round pick. Okay, we will not hold you accountable anymore. Brendan Sorsby is who you're attaching your wagon to. That is who you're attaching your future as a Cleveland Browns GM to. Because if it blows up, that is 2 high-risk, no-reward situations in Deshaun Watson and Brendan Sorsby at the most important position on offense that you've continually fumbled.
Does it change your opinion if they get Sorsby with a 3rd-round pick or a 4th-round pick as opposed to a 1st or 2nd?
No, it doesn't, because the Browns are going out there and making the bid just like everybody else. Rob, if that's what the going rate is, I don't expect the Browns to try to go out bid and just win it by a 1st and 2nd. I know you're not saying that, but no, if they find the need to bid because this guy is being talked about as a 1st-round talent, they're essentially going out and getting their 1st rounder. They're bidding to ensure they get their guy. So if this is Andrew Barry's guy, he better work out, or he Andrew Berry should find some really, I know at Lowe's they put together these real cool boxes. They're moving boxes. You could tape them up. They're big. They got you put a lot of room in there. So maybe he finds a few of those and gets the hell out of Berea, because this is just asinine. You can try to fool me, and I know you got something to say, Double, but you can try to fool me once on asinine behavior, bringing in Deshaun Watson with all the myriad of issues going on there. But now you want us to 4, 5, 6 years later to be like, hey guys, you didn't see that. But Brendan Sorsby is going to work out. Absolutely not. No.
And I'll piggyback just real quick. I don't think Shedeur Sanders was an Andrew Berry guy. I mean, if you look back at how that draft played out, their guy, whether it's Kevin Stefanski or Berry.
Oh, that draft room looked like a funeral.
Yeah. They picked up Shedeur Sanders basically like Haslam picked them up. So, yeah, I think to Eli's point, Sorsby, this will be all Andrew Berry. And he's going to operate the way he wants. Do not – I'll leave it at this, Rob. If they give up on Shedeur Sanders, they are making a horrific mistake, because he will go somewhere else and he will be successful at another program, and it will be on our hands because we are paying him McDoubles to play quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. And if you give up on him, it's on our hands.
Yeah. And again, this is just the evolving mess. And again, this is kind of, to Eli's, mentioned it, this is masking, a pretty good draft a couple of years ago and what it looks like a pretty good draft right now. If they keep screwing this up, then something's going to have to be done, and I don't know how many more strikes Andrew Berry is going to have before he gets called out on this one. But this is the main event here on the Inside Edge Net. Let's take a quick break. We'll segue into baseball. I went on vacation for 24 hours and a third of the team got hurt. So we'll talk some Guardians. We'll figure out who the hell is in this lineup. There are definitely some names in there that the casual fan is learning as these whole deals are going. By the way, I was very, very shocked and sobered when I saw a lineup that had Brian Rocchio hitting third. But we'll get into the Guardians, and then we'll figure out what we've learned and talk a little Giannis. Get out of here on this Sunday night. This is the main event on the Inside Edge Net. We got Anthony, we got Eli, I'm Rob. We'll be back.
Key On Sports is the leader in Ohio high school athletic coverage in written, print, and video streaming. From the latest news and results and written content to the high school football game of the week every Friday, Key On Sports has you covered. The vision of 15-time published author Vince McKee has become the most trusted site in Ohio high school athletic news. From podcasts to player profiles, Key On Sports is your one-stop for all of it. Visit them today at keyonsports.com or on YouTube at Key On Sports. Check out their socials on Twitter and Facebook as well.
Clean energy, bold flavors, and no jitters. See why people won't shut up about Dubby. Clean energy, no jitters or crash. Whether you're starting your workday or getting ready to exercise, Dubby Energy helps you lock in and focus. With over 15 flavors to choose from, you can't miss. Order Dubby Energy right now by using the QR code on your screen and use the promo code InsideEdge10 to receive 10% off your order. Dubby Energy, your energy-focused sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Discover our collection of body mists made with clean, minimal ingredients. Handcrafted with natural essential oils and clean ingredients, they offer a natural alternative to synthetic fragrances. Perfect for sensitive skin and those seeking clean, mindful self-care, and the perfect gift for you or your special someone. Courtesy of Alley Rose Fragrances. First-time customers, use that promo code InsideEdge20 to receive 20% off your order. AlleyRoseFragrances.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Whether searching for a baseball autographed by your favorite World Series slugger, a signed football by an iconic Hall of Famer, or the jersey of a world-famous soccer star, you've come to the right place. Here at SportsMemorabilia.com, the web's leading source of authentic sports memorabilia, you'll find more than 500,000 authentic products from nearly every professional sports league, team, and players. Not only will you find your next prized sports possession with ease thanks to superb customer service and tremendous site experience, you'll have the satisfaction and peace of mind that every product listed comes complete with a certificate of authenticity and is fully backed by the SportsMemorabilia.com lifetime authenticity guarantee. Go to sportsmemorabilia.com by using the QR code on your screen right now. Sportsmemorabilia.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Podcast Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Find us on InsideEdgeNetwork.com for the latest information on your favorite shows, personalities, and network partners. Plus, guess what? We have a merch shop. That's right, we have network polos, t-shirts, champion jackets, hats, and bottles. Rep the network. Every purchase supports independent sports and entertainment media. Use the QR code on your screen right now to check out InsideEdgeNetwork.com. That's InsideEdgeNetwork.com.
And welcome back to the main event here on the Inside Edge Net. We got Eli, we got Anthony, I am Rob. We are now in the second hour of this nice internet radio program. By the way, CJ McCollum locked up a 1-year contract with the Hawks. He's going to re-sign there. It looks like that's just rolling around the ticker here.
Yeah, this is CJ
also
McCollum.
Also, big NHL trade happening. Looks like the Florida Panthers are hoisting a bunch of picks over to the Ottawa Senators for their captain, Brady Tkachuk. He's going to be playing with his brother. The Panthers did not miss. They did miss the playoffs actually last time around, mainly because they were hurt, because they played 2 full seasons with Stanley Cup championships and everything like that. So, yeah, it looks like they're going to be reloading with that. But, I don't know anything else going on otherwise in the sports universe that is of note. But what happened a little earlier today, the Guardians, they lost, I believe it was a 2-1 game. What was it? It was a low-scoring game again against the Houston Astros. Lost 2 out of 3 against Houston. I don't know if that's the headline. Right now, though, we have a team that was not injured when I left to go on vacation a week ago. But in one fatal swoop, Jose Ramirez broken hamate bone. Chase DeLauder broken rib, and a Angel Martinez broken foot. The Martinez and Ramirez are going to be out anywhere between 4 to 6 weeks. DeLauder might be back actually by the time we're on the air next week. But we have a team that is battered and beaten, and they weren't really that good offensively when they were healthy. Where are you looking at the Guardians right now? About 70 games through the season here?
So I think it's important we start off with a positive, that we are in the first place in the AL Central. So I'll start with that positive. We are in first in the AL Central. After that, not many positives. We have Jose Ramirez, obviously the hamate injury. Chase DeLauder, Rob did a great job highlighting all those injuries. And ironically enough, 3 of the biggest contributors on offense, especially DeLauder and Martinez. Martinez has found a ton of pop in his bat this year. He's been a lot of fun to watch. A lot of people were freaking out after, and myself included, when Gabriel Arias went out because he had just started to find some pop in his bat, and he went the IL, and now we're having to talk about where he's going to fit in. Well, hey, Mr. Arias, you might have a spot because we have other guys that are hurt now. But you wonder now, with Martinez, man, him going out. DeLauder, I know his home run total slowed significantly down after that first week blaze, but still a guy that was getting on base, being a terror in the offense, and somebody that the other opposing team had to respect. And then, of course, Jose, even if Jose's batting 197, opposing pitchers are going to respect him because of the track record he's put in. So you lose all 3 of those guys in one weekend. It's real tough. Luckily, the Guardians keeping them afloat a little bit is Travis Bazzana. He's been absolutely on fire.
That's my guy.
And I've been seeing the talks, about, maybe did the Guardians mess up by not drafting Nick Kurtz, who's been going crazy and, for the Athletics. I almost said the Oakland Athletics, but they're not the Oakland Athletics. So the Athletics. But, I think that talk is so foolish, man. We are so quick in Cleveland, especially the Guardians. I will say that very quickly, that the Guardians fans are so quick to be like, oh, so-and-so's off to a better start. He's got to be the better player. Like, hey, do we not remember when Carlos Correa won Rookie of the Year over Francisco Lindor? I'd say Lindor's having a better career than Carlos Correa besides the World Series. I get the World Series, Rozycki, I saw your face, but individual player, I still would take Lindor over Correa. I would. And I think a lot of people, to my point, just over exaggerate. And then Travis Bazzana rips the cover off the ball the last, 2-3 days. He's been on fire, and he's one of the only positives, really. They brought up Khalil Watson from AAA Columbus. They were hoping, okay, Khalil Watson, he can hit the ball. Maybe he hit a few home runs, and not good. Has not been good. And that's to be expected when you're relying on prospects to try to get you over the hump. What are the Guardians going to do at the trade deadline? that's the biggest thing I'm curious to see. The trade deadline is about a month away, end of July, if I'm not mistaken. So, you'll be seeing, about a month away, Guardians are going to start making some moves here, and they're going to have to do it sooner than later because the White Sox aren't going away. Are they a team that will be here in September? Who knows? But why, what they say, FAFO, F around and find out. And, and I'm not trying to if I'm a Guardians fan. So at the end of the day, I think they should look at trade deadline opportunities. I think they should look at bringing in a big bat, even if it is a rental. And Chad and I have discussed on prime time, maybe Luis Arias, I know he just got moved, so he's not the opportune guy to bring here now, obviously. But, other guys like Yordan Alvarez and, these other guys that stand out in terms of bats, you got to bring somebody in here. I mean, that's just the end of the day because, okay, it's a rental, but I said this on prime time. I'll say it again here tonight. It's a rental to bring one of the best, if not the most beloved, Cleveland Guardians / Indians player of all time, a World Series. And isn't that what we're in it for? Farm systems will always be there. Drafts will always come around. There'll be some star that you can sign to a deal and put them in your farm system. What won't be around is Jose Ramirez in about 6 to 7 years, at least at this rate, and maybe sooner. We'll see what happens with his hand injury. I think we're all under the same, idea that Jose Ramirez is going to come back and be Jose Ramirez. But let's not forget he is getting a little bit older in terms of baseball terms, right? So that's the other thing you have to consider for the Guardians. So this mixed in with Jose, the injuries and Jose's age and the timetable you have to bring him a World Series, the Guardians got to be buyers at the deadline because no prospect is going to just magically save this. I don't care if they bring up Cooper Ingle and if they find a way to bring up Ralphie Velasquez. As great as those guys are, they would look a lot better in another team's farm system and us go bring in a bat that's been producing at the major league level this year.
Well, here's the other thing, and I can't top the analysis that Eli just provided there. So I'll go a little bit surface level. Who knew we needed to sacrifice so much to beat Scooble?
Yeah, dude, come on, man. Dude comes back.
Rob, we took off last Sunday because we were grieving. Because it took so much.
I was looking at my phone going, what the fuck just happened? No, I mean, what the lucky thing for the Guardians is their starting rotation is still intact. It's another week, actually 2 more weeks have gone by since we have last met, and the stat still holds true. The Guardians have only used 5 starting pitchers this season. They have not had to scratch a starter for any reason. And in this division, yes, we are in first place with I think we're 3 games over 500 right now. Yeah. It's a very kind division. You have the White Sox there right behind you with a game out. They've lost 3 in a row. And then you got 3 basically no factors in the Twinkies and the Royals and the Tigers behind. The name of the game is going to be hold water for the next month or so. 6 weeks from now, roughly from when Jose got hurt, is the trade deadline. He should be coming back in the top of August. The trade deadline is August 3rd. And I think, you can probably know a little even before that trade deadline how Jose is rehabbing, how he's looking, and make your decisions on that one. Because all the other injuries, I mean, no disrespect to Angel or DeLauder, all the other injuries don't matter. Jose is the straw that stirs this drink, and we need him in the lineup to have a chance. Mm-hmm. So if he's ready to go, yeah, Moon, I agree with you. You got a pretty good starting rotation right now. The bullpen, yeah, you could always use another arm. If we picked up Chapman out of Boston, I wouldn't hate that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you need to augment this offense right now. And, maybe not right now, but give this up until the trade deadline. See if you can hold water. See if you can at least be around it, because 5 weeks is a long time. Chicago could get hot. We could get cold. We could be 12 games out in a month. Who knows? I don't think we will be, but who knows? Right. But right now, this roster's job is to play, I'd say 500 ball. I mean, you could probably over the next month get away with 500 ball, if not maybe a game or 2 less than that, and be around this division. The name of the game is to just be around this thing when Jose comes back, be around this thing when the trade deadline happens, be a seller, and rely on that pitching, and see if, between Bazana, if DeLauder comes back soon, Rocchio, who's now our number 3 hitter, can you manufacture enough runs to get you through this next month? That's going to be the question, because I think the pitching is going to be there.
Right.
But the offense right now, who knows?
I guess the question is, are you trying to win the AL Central, Rozycki, or are you trying to win the World Series? Because those are two different questions.
I'm trying to win the AL Central to solidify a playoff spot and have a chance at the World Series.
I get that.
If we're out of the division race, it ain't going to matter much how good we are in the last month of the season.
I get that. But what I say to that is the Guardians should still be operating under the understanding that they are still one of the better AL teams right now in the American League.
Yeah,
they still are. They still are in a position, and we were talking before the injuries, and I was sitting here banging at the table about how they need to be the biggest buyers, and I believe they will be at the deadline, because this is their chance to really take the American League and get back to the World Series for the first time since 2016. Sounds familiar with the Cleveland team. But, we see here the Guardians, really their only competition. If you look at the AL standings right now, yes, the Yankees are starting to catch momentum, and the guy Aaron Judge coming back from injury, sooner than later. I know he's still rehabbing his ribs, but you see that the Rays are still hanging around, and then that's pretty much it. The stragglers right now, the Chicago White Sox. But so I understand your point, Rozycki. You have to win the Central. I mean, you don't have to, but it'd be nice to win the Central so you can lock up a playoff spot. But the Guardians' mindset should not, just because of these injuries, should not shift to, well, now we're just trying to win the AL Central, get in. They should still have that mindset. They're one of the best teams in the AL when healthy, and they should be adding players on offense that are going to create not only a life preserver right now while Jose and the guys are out, but when they come back into the lineup, now you have one of the strongest batting lineups in the American League, because I understand the offense has never been a highlight for us. I've been pleasantly surprised. I'm going to be honest. I've been pleasantly surprised with the offense this year because of the contributors we've gotten. Usually it's like Jose, and then maybe we get one or two guys that can contribute. Usually it's Stephen Kwan. It's not been Stephen Kwan. He's had a very down year, and his future's up in the, we talk about trade bait, talk about Stephen Kwan. But we've seen contributions out of other guys. Daniel Schneemann at points in time throughout the season. Angel Martinez, despite him being hurt. Chase DeLauder early on. Travis Bazzana right now. We are seeing other guys contribute. That makes me believe they just need a little bit of a boost. But it's either the Dolans throw them out of life preserver right now, or maybe they sink through July, and we're having to talk about how they can try to make another comeback 5-6 games back of the Central. I understand it's not 15.5, but I'd rather be playing from ahead and trying to chase the big dogs rather than just trying to kick down the little brothers of the AL Central.
Well, they can establish some separation in the AL Central in the next 2 weeks. You have 7 matchups coming up against the White Sox, including 3 starting tomorrow night. Right. So you could establish some distance with Chicago, and you got the Twins on the backside of that stretch as well. So you can legitimately go into this All-Star break, even without Jose Ramirez, with good spacing in that division. So imagine this. You take 2 out of 3 from Chicago this week, and then you stay afloat against Seattle. And then, you have Texas in the, afterwards. And then, hey, if you split Chicago again next weekend or take 3 or 4, come on now. And let's be real about this too. Despite everything that's going on with us and all the problems, all the pressure, at least this week, all the pressure is on Chicago. They're the ones that have to prove, they're the real deals. They're the ones that have to prove, are we just good just because of circumstance and the record or not? Like, we're coming in with half a roster, and we've proven that we can compete and win close matchups. So I think I have here from Cleveland.com real quick, 44 games the Guardians have played that's been decided by 2 or fewer runs this season. Cleveland's 24-20 in those games. It's not the most impressive record in the world, but you're over 500 in close games. So you take that into account, you're playing with house money if you're Cleveland, especially these next couple weeks.
Yeah, I mean, you're doing your best, and again, Moon, I'm still agree with you. I think they, they're trying to win the World Series, obviously, but just for right now, this is just damage control mode. I mean, it's the best player on the team by far is not going to be involved. And by the way, this is a team that is bottom 3 in OPS, bottom 5 in home runs, and I believe bottom 4 in runs. In Major League Baseball. We've had Jose up until a week ago. So, I mean, you really can't even blame that. So, yeah, this offense needed work beforehand. But right now, this is just, if they can get a bat in here in the next week, okay, great. But right now, as long as this lineup's intact, yeah, Double A's point, you win your division games. You hopefully can tune up Chicago at least 2 out of 3. You can pick up a game on Chicago. If you're sitting here Wednesday afternoon and you're 2 games up, okay, cool. But right now it's just all about staying in the division, which I think is very doable. Again, this pitching staff is remarkably consistent right now, so at least we got that going for us. And man, oh wow, I got Teddy Long on the TV with no haircut. Oof. Not cool. You just don't want to look up and see that. But yeah, I mean, it's just a situation like they just got to hold water. And if they're sitting, top of August, if it's August 1st and it's anywhere, 2 to 3 games out to 2 to 3 games up, then yeah, you're doing what you're doing. You're going to, use your prospects, use your whatever system you have to get somebody in here that can help out Jose and not make this, a completely just wasteland offense. Because what I think this is going to do, in a way, with no Jose especially, is you're really going to see what this team looks like without the one Hall of Famer they have. Mm-hmm. And hopefully that'll be a wake-up call to what this, to the front office and everything. Or hopefully, I hope it's not a situation of, wow, these scrappy-ass individuals, they held everything together. They're okay. There's still a game or 2 up in the division. We don't need to trade for anybody because we're getting Jose back. That's our deadline deal.
And that's
I'm waiting for that kind of language to come out of the front office. But yeah, they definitely, with or without Jose, they need to add a bat or 2.
Yeah, and I know we got to go to break here in just a moment. My final thought on this is that's exactly my fear, Rozycki, is either we're going to play Prospect Palooza, and as much as Velasquez could be fun and Engel could be fun, and these guys, Cal Steven on the pitching side will not be up this year. They just announced multiple reports earlier today that he is having Tommy John surgery. He's going to be out the rest of the year and most of 27, if not the entire year. So at least pitching-wise, we won't get him. But bat-wise, Velasquez and Engel could be a ton of fun, and some of these other guys. But are you going to play Prospect Palooza, or are you going to go out and get somebody that is a guaranteed, okay, he's going to produce in your lineup? I understand there's some guys that may not be the perfect ideal fit. If he can hit the ball and produce runs, he's a fit. That's what we need. So if you are somebody out there that is holding on to a player and you are below 500 and you have a player that can give us some runs, hand them over. We got some prospects. We have Stephen Kwan. We can.
Well, and that's going to be something I think the Guardians are going to be having to deal with. You talk about the fact that, you got 2 clear teams that are kind of above everybody in the American League, in the Rays and in the Yanks, and then it's kind of everybody else. Mm-hmm. I don't know how many sellers they're going to be. That's going to be the question, is who's going to be thinking that, that they are dead and buried August 1st. There's, typically we see like, a half dozen teams that are 5 to 6 games out of the wild card spot around that. So, I mean, that'll be something the Guardians have to play with. We'll see if there's any other teams that are going to go for broke before the pending labor stoppage that will be happening. That might influence more than a few teams in the way they're looking at things. So clearly, though, changes are going to have to be made. This roster is going to have to be augmented. And yeah, you got all these prospects in the minor league system. Let's use them. Don't call them up for a week and a half and have them hit 140 and then come back and all of a sudden we're trying to trade Nolan Jones. But yeah, clearly changes have to be made. Yeah. This is the main event here on the Inside Edge Net. Up next, we'll be talking a little bit about what's going on with the NBA. We have this is player movement season. I told you about CJ McCollum. The one that we're waiting for, that everybody is waiting for, the Greek Freak who's in Milwaukee is not happy that he's in Milwaukee. And it looks like he's going to be traded. And again, probably before we start talking next week, this is going to be happening. We'll get in all the Giannis rumors. Are the Cavaliers going to be involved? Who's going to be involved? What does this mean for the Eastern Conference, the Cavaliers, the NBA in general? We'll break all that down, and then we'll figure out what we've learned, and then we'll get you going on your way and get you to start your week on this Sunday night. This is the main event on the Inside Edge Net. I'm Rob. We got Double A. We got Moon. We'll be back.
Phonetics isn't just our name, it's who we are. Loyal, passionate fans dedicated to our favorite teams and to the sports we love. That's why we're honored to be able to offer fans the world's largest collection of official sports apparel and sports jerseys from all leagues, teams, and players you love. We feature a wide selection of gear from every league, including the NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL, and NCAA merchandise, which allows us to serve fans of football, baseball, hockey, basketball, lacrosse, soccer, golf, and, well, everything else that gets your heart pumping. Go to fanatics.com by using the QR code on your screen right now to celebrate your teams. That's fanatics.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader.
Small business owners are superheroes, but nowadays running your business means doing so inside your shop and on social media. That's why you should make Omega Video Marketing your sidekick.
With a decade of content creation experience, I create dynamic, informative, and fun videos for your specific social needs that will increase brand awareness, get you more followers, and keep your social pages and websites current and fresh.
I offer flexible pricing and turn times and will work with you to understand your brand and your story. All of that comes from the heart. My award-winning expertise is just the cherry on top. So let's get connected. After all, your brand is the alpha and my expertise is the omega.
Discover our collection of handcrafted candles. That's right, every product is thoughtfully created in small batches free from harmful toxins for mindful everyday indulgence. Our candles are hand-poured in coconut soy wax with natural wood wicks, offering a long-lasting burn and rich fragrances. Create a cozy, safe ambiance for your home with candles from Alley Rose Fragrances. First-time customers use the promo code InsideEdge20 to receive 20% off your order. AlleyRoseFragrances.com, proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Podcast Network. Mosser Moments Photography is a husband and wife wedding photography team based in Cleveland, owned and operated by Inside Edge Network's very own Ryan Mosser and his wife, Hallie. For the past 10 years, they've captured more than 100 weddings across Northeast Ohio and beyond, always working together as a true two-person team. Their style centers on authentic, emotional storytelling, documenting the real moments between two people in love and creating images that feel natural, comfortable, and true to the couple. Rooted in Northern Ohio but inspired by their travels, Ryan and Hallie bring a warm, personal approach to every wedding day. Their work blends experience, consistency, and a genuine passion for helping couples relive their best day through timeless photography. Learn more at MosserMomentsPhotography.com by using the QR code on your screen right now. MosserMomentsPhotography.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader.
This is the main event here on the Inside Edge Net. We got Double A, we got Eli Moon. I am Rob Rozycki. Two more segments left here. We're going to talk a little basketball, but I just saw an amazing story here. Iraq was playing France I think today in the World Cup, and they got Kylian Mbappe, who is a very good best of the best kind of soccer player. The Iraq coach actually asked the referees if he was allowed to play three goalies.
Dog, what are we doing?
And the referee said no. And honestly, I would assume the answer would be no because somebody would have tried that. I mean, the World Cup's been around for 96 years.
Dude, hey, you know what? At least he asked. He asked.
I wouldn't have asked. I just would have put two guys out there.
See, exactly. I know.
I mean, that's what the president would have done.
Hey, can we get a sixth person out there on the basketball court? Right,
dude. Mbappe's a stud, though. He's a stud, man. He's a stud, dude. He's so good.
And
so good.
Quote, I asked if we could play three goalkeepers. The coach said with a laugh on Sunday, but they said no. You know what? No dumb questions. That's just how I want. How you're looking at that one.
This is how new rules get proposed, and this is how we make change in the sport. Maybe 25 years down the line, we're looking into where you can use for a 10-minute period. You can have two or three goalies out there. Like, who knows?
Well, every you got to remember, like law or rule in sports, the reason why they're there is because somebody tried to do it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Like they remember that French kid, Oliver Roux for Florida last year, that big 7'6" kid.
Yeah.
Florida worked him out as a nose tackle on field goal kicks and punts because you're sticking your foot, your hand up there, and somebody asked the question, could you put him in front of the crossbar and have him, Dikembe Mutombo this shit out of here? The answer is no.
No.
Because I think it was the Chiefs tried that back in the early 60s, and they said no. So, yeah, like every dumb rule is there because somebody tried it beforehand.
I love it. I'm
Yeah,
with
like,
it.
if you go to a farm and you see a sign that says don't have sex with goats, you know that somebody on that ground probably tried to have sex with a goat.
No
Rozycki,
comment. No.
And with that, let's pivot to the Greek Freak.
Yeah, let's let's speaking of goats, yes, let's actually talk about one of the goats of the NBA right now. The NBA is currently littered, and we all know what the NBA offseason is. It is rumor, it is innuendo, it is scuttlebutt whispers, and it is highly dramatic. And right now, the lead storyline of this NBA offseason is, where the hell is Giannis Antetokounmpo going to play next year? Is it going to be Milwaukee? Is it going to be Miami? Is it going to be Boston? Is it going to be somewhere else? The former MVP and Finals MVP has requested a trade, and right now, and I've got a feeling that Milwaukee wants to get this done before the draft, and I think that's about 10 days from now.
Mm-hmm.
So, it looks like Giannis is going to be on the move. I mentioned the two front runners. You got Boston and Miami in there, two Eastern Conference teams. Of course, the Cavaliers play in the Eastern Conference. Should the Cavaliers be trying to run some interference on this, or trying to, maybe even acquire this superstar just so that somebody else in the East doesn't have to?
That'd be a nice thought, Rob, but the Cavs have played themselves out of this one. And they had the front side, the front running opportunity at the trade deadline when all those reports came out that they could have moved Evan Mobley in a monsoon of draft picks for Giannis, and decided, well, we like Evan Mobley, and that's cool. We'll find out how that works out, and if Evan Mobley's even in the cards for the future for the Cavaliers. But no, the Cavaliers have played themselves out of this. This is Miami. This is Boston. Maybe a sleeper team. I brought up on prime time on Thursday. Maybe Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City was linked to Evan Mobley. They could be linked.
They have 78 first-round picks in the next 2 years.
Exactly, and they could be linked to Giannis. And the reason being, I compared it in a way to a Kevin Durant to the Warriors move. Now, granted, the Bucks and Thunder didn't play each other. There wasn't any, disheartening loss, and then they went to the other team. However, this would basically be out and going, hey, we've homegrown our first championship. We're going to kind of buy our way to our second one if we need to. We're going to go get Giannis, because Giannis slots in right there perfectly. And OKC has all the capital that you'd be looking for if you're Milwaukee. They can give you Jalen Williams, who's going to be due for a big contract here very soon. You're going to have Chet Holmgren they could take a chance on and put in their front court. And obviously the value is low on Chet right now because of how poorly he played in the Western Conference Finals, but still a young player that Milwaukee could be like, all right, we have him in the front court. And then they have a ton of draft picks. So I think Giannis would make a ton of sense there in OKC with Shea, kind of take a little bit of the pressure off Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, because now you have another MVP there. I think OKC would make a ton of sense. And hey, I am not saying that he shouldn't go to the West. In fact, I'm saying go to the West. Like, you've already done it in the East. Why do you have to play the Cavaliers more times than we need to? With that being said, Rob, I'm just curious why Miami would be the front runner. I understand they have some guys they could give up. What does that do for the Miami Heat? Because if you're giving up Tyler Hero, which is everything I've been seeing out of these reports, is you're going to give up Tyler Hero to a third team, more than likely Detroit, and you're giving up Jaime Jaquez as well. You're giving up Khalil Ware. You're giving up all these guys. Who is suiting up for you? Because this isn't LeBron, Wade, and Bosh. Let's be clear. Bam and Giannis is not LeBron, Wade, and Bosh. So I don't understand where you're going to find the roster to be championship level. Even if Boston doesn't obtain Giannis Antetokounmpo, they are going to be one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference and best teams in the NBA again next year. And they still have a card in their back pocket with Jaylen Brown if they still decide to move on from him, go get somebody else to go impact them. So I just think it's two things. One, to answer your question, no, the Cavs at this point, Rob, should be hoping that they could just maybe be that third team, get a Jaquez or somebody, like they did Jared Allen back in the Brooklyn, James Harden trade, and they got Jared Allen out of that. Maybe they do that, but the other thing I'm just puzzled on is, like, why Miami? Yes, it's nice there. You cool, the Heat culture. We get told all the time, Heat culture. Well, Heat culture really hasn't been around since Wade and those guys left. So I'm just curious what that really does for Giannis. And if the bigger question too is if he really does care about winning basketball games, which is what he said. I want to be in a position to win championships. Buddy, here, hold on. Giannis, can you hear me? Can you hear me from here, right here on this microphone? You're not winning a championship in South Beach, buddy. Like, it's just not happening. You're not doing it. Maybe Boston.
Well, you got to think too. Well, the way that Miami's looking at this is they damn near won the finals twice with Jimmy Butler as their best player.
Yeah.
They're used to taking kind of spare parts and afterthoughts and creating teams out of these. Nobody really cared about Duncan Robinson when it came down to the draft, but he was a pretty good piece. Same with Max Strus. They develop players very well there. And I think what Miami would be looking at is that Pat Riley is in his 80s and he doesn't have doesn't have any time for his studs down rebuild and to see what's going on with this. And Bam and Giannis are two top 20 players in the league. Giannis, I would still consider maybe top 5, top 7 out of bios, top 20 for sure. And that's a pretty good place to start from if you're Miami. And yeah, I'd be kind of curious to see who is left after a potential trade like this, because you got to keep in mind too, Milwaukee isn't really going to be looking for players in this. And if they are, it's going to be maybe a Khalil Ware who's a younger guy. They're going to be in full rebuild. They don't want to rebuild with Evan Mobley or, Tyler Hero or any of these guys that we're talking about in trade fodder. They're going to be too good for, to get a top 5 pick. So they're going to want the picks. If the Cavaliers are going to be involved in all seriousness, is going to be shuttling picks over to Milwaukee and maybe getting a useful piece back for it. That's what it's going to be.
Right.
But, where Miami's looking at it right now is like, okay, if we keep, we're not going to trade Bam. So it's going to be Giannis and Bam. You got Norman Powell. I think he's on an expiring contract right now. Right. Andrew Wiggins is there on a team option. You got Davion Mitchell there, Jaime Jaquez. You got a few pieces in there, but I would think that if I'm Miami and I make that move for Giannis, I'm probably looking for another move to make too. On top of that, you're looking to kind of add a third piece, a third, point of this triangle here for that team.
Yeah, and that's the part I was going to bring up too. I don't think this is just going to be a singular move to Miami. You could look at Miami and say, this could be an attractive piece for somebody, somebody who can also come in. From the Cavs standpoint, just real quick, I always envision if Giannis were to ever have come here, I kind of talked into it would be a Giannis LeBron package deal. Obviously, that's not going to happen, but that was the only angle I saw there. I did not envision they would basically give or take a straight up trade with Giannis and Evan Mobley. I don't think that was going to happen on that front. I mean, I will give you one little counter argument, Eli. Just one about Miami. If we're looking at the Eastern, we've had discussions in the last few days about, the last eight seasons, we've had 8 different teams win the participation trophy. I'm sorry, the Larry O'Brien trophy. Dumbest comment I ever heard on ESPN in almost 50 years of broadcasting.
What, participation trophy or the piece of metal?
Yes. But yes, the participation trophy. Unreal. But back to this. If you look at it, maybe Miami's looking at it from the standpoint, maybe there isn't a one singular dominant team in the Eastern Conference. If New York can make a run, and Boston could make a run, Indiana could make a little bit of a run, all you need in the Eastern Conference, if you have a couple of superstars, have enough firepower to get through April and May, and that'll get you to June, and then all bets are off when you're in the NBA Finals.
Yeah,
I think that's how they're – I'm not saying that's a bulletproof way of looking at this, but I think from the Heat standpoint, if they're looking for that quick fix, you have Giannis in your building, they feel – because, again, to Rob's point, they have done it with a lot less talent twice in this decade. If they feel they have a good team, a good enough team with Giannis leading the way, third seed, fourth seed, fifth seed, maybe sneaking as a second seed with a good culture, whatever, the Heat culture, whatever. But
Sure.
you got Eric Spoelstra there. He could at least lead you to the finals, and you have enough firepower to win it.
But let's be clear, though, too, that the Miami Heat, and I understand your point, Double A, but the Miami Heat were only in the finals in 2020 because half the league kind of took the ball and went home. That was a really weird year, too. So I'm really, we'll count the finals. So I'm not in the favor of Mickey Mouse trophies and all that. I think that's silly. They had to win the championship. But again, it was a weird year. That being said, Rob, I know you listen to some of the guys that are on that roster. I truly am under the impression that Ware and Jaquez are both gone from Miami. Milwaukee's not leaving that deal without both of those guys. They're getting Jaquez and they're getting Ware. Those are the two.
Well, they're both younger players out of like those two guys can be around. And I don't know what their contractual situation. I think Khalil Ware just signed an extension. They're paying him some money right now.
Yes, exactly.
But yeah, they're both younger guys who could potentially be around for a couple 3 years on a rebuild here.
Right, so now you're down to Davion Mitchell, who I do like Davion Mitchell. I liked him in Sacramento. I mean, heck, he was at Baylor. I was a big fan of him coming out of the draft. But I just believe the Heat are not going to be able to do what they did in 2010 with the LeBron, Wade, Bosh, and put together a lineup with a bunch of guys that wanted to play with LeBron. Who is Giannis, in all due respect to Giannis, who has Giannis really been around that's like, dude, I'm going to follow Giannis wherever I go? Like, nobody's really done that. You're not getting Damian Lillard calling, from the Blazers going, hey, I'll go join you in Miami, or wherever. So, yes, you can get lucky and find some depth.
Guys, do you know who wants to ride or die with Giannis, who considers him one of his best friends?
His brother.
Bam Adebayo.
Yeah, I get that. But he's going there. But, Rob, the whole point is Double A brings up the Knicks, and he brings up some of these other teams in the Eastern Conference. You know what they all had? Depth. Indiana didn't have a superstar. Tyrese Halliburton was working his way to trying to get into that discussion, but they had a ton of depth. Aaron Nesmith had a great postseason. Some of these other guys, Andrew Nembhard had a great postseason. Just guys around Indiana had a great postseason. New York, we're talking about New York. Yes, it's led by Brunson, led by Cat, but yet Anunoby with some star moments. Bridges for a stretch. They have depth. Miami would be gutting pretty much all their potential that the whole point of coming over here to Miami would be for like Jaquez and Ware and of course Bam. But now you're taking those two guys away and you're also losing capital. So you're kind of put yourselves in a tight spot.
Well,
and I just don't know if Miami's the spot to be able to, if you're serious about winning.
Would they make another run on LeBron?
I don't think he wants to go there anymore.
No,
I think he wants to stay out west. I mean, they may make a run, but
only bring that up because one of the considerations LeBron and his team has talked about his lifestyle.
Right.
So Miami would not be a negative mark in terms of lifestyle.
No.
If Giannis is there in Miami,
but
you will hear news.
Now,
you will hear news about LeBron in Miami.
Real
now,
quick on that, Rob.
Go ahead. The part I was going to actually move on a little bit here. The part that's intriguing for me is if it's Boston. Because every part of it, every bit of stuff I've read on this stuff has said either Brown or Tatum, and probably Brown, would be included on that trade. And for if I'm a Cavs fan in this situation, that perks my ears up because what I just said about Milwaukee wanting to rebuild, you don't want Jaylen Brown on your rebuild, and Jaylen Brown don't want to be on your rebuild. So all of a sudden now you're going to need a third team that would basically take in Jaylen Brown. Is that the Cavs? Is that the Pistons? Is that, the Miami Heat themselves? Who knows? Like, all of a sudden the Boston side of it, when you got that superstar in play, I don't feel the same way about Tyler Hero or Jaime Jaquez or Khalil Ware that I do about either one of those two guys in Boston. That's going to, that secondary fallout will be enough to kind of shake the East up too. But when you start talking about Miami, I think the criticism you can say is that Pat Riley is trying to build this team like it's 2015 and it's a big three era. You brought it up with the Knicks. Who was their coach last year when they got knocked out in the Eastern Conference Final?
Tom Thibodeau.
What was his MO that he never ever liked to do? So
play his bench players.
And they've put Mike Brown in there who used his bench, and that was good enough to win another 2 rounds in the playoffs. We're seeing, you are right, Eli, with New York, with OKC, especially the last 2 champions. it's almost like a hockey team where you have lines that can just come out and deal with you. You are 8 to 10 guys deep to take the title like that. So yeah, the Miami will have major depth issues if they do pick him up. If I'm Bam and I'm Giannis, dude, yeah, you got to look at Giannis and say, you can't be doing this phantom injury crap. We're going to need you for 75 games this year because we don't have anybody else. So
right.
yeah,
exactly.
that's going to be a few things to look at.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think a lot of the Giannis injury stuff was Giannis just doesn't want to be in Milwaukee. But and we'll see, ultimately.
But that freaks me out because if you're willing to do it in one city, you're willing to do it in any other city for any, whatever the reason might be. You might hate Pat Riley. You might hate Spoelstra. You might not like Sand. But if you do it once, you can do it again.
Maybe. Yeah, and that's fair. But if you look at his track history, this was the first year really in his career he had been doing that. And he had been very open the year before about wanting to be out of Milwaukee, that he just didn't know about his future at points of time. So he's kind of been open about that. I understand the point, though. I guess ultimately it comes down to me. You brought up an interesting point about Boston. And I know we got to go to break here in just a moment. And I know Double has some thoughts as well. What perks my interest about Boston is a Jaylen Brown move. Because if Boston strikes out on Giannis, they still have Jaylen Brown in their back pocket. Jaylen Brown and the Boston Celtics are at, war of words right now, subliminally. And you look at all of that, is Jaylen Brown a piece that levels you up? And I'm not necessarily saying, Donovan Mitchell, but whoever you look at, you look at the Celtics, who, mind you, have been prepping for Giannis. I believe they were letting Vucevic walk, Nikola Vucevic, who's one of their best big men on that team they've acquired from Chicago. So you look at that, and they're planning for Giannis. Does Evan Mobley make sense there? Does Evan Mobley and you pair up a bench guy or two, maybe Strus on the move, and it would suck to move off of him, and you give him basically a Thanos ring of three-point shooters along with Pritchard and Hauser and those guys? But do you look there and bring in Jaylen Brown to either run with Donovan, or do you look at Jaylen Brown and go, hey, we'd rather run the clock with Jaylen Brown as opposed to Donovan Mitchell? They're right around the same draft class, so they're around the same age, and we want to bring in Jaylen Brown and build around him. Because that's the other thing you could look at, because if you struck out on Giannis, if you're the Cavaliers, which you're going to, if you struck out on LeBron, which seems more and more likely by the day that you're going to, who else is there out there that is going to give a fresh look, which is what Cavaliers fans are looking for? We don't want to run this back. What is going to give you a fresh look and give you a chance to feel like now we have a better chance to win the NBA championship? The only other guy I can think of out there is Jaylen Brown. Truthfully, there's other guys you could add, Trey Murphy III from New Orleans, other guys that can make impacts. But if you're trying to shake it up, that is your plan C.
Guys. Well, if I'm Jaylen Brown, one of the reasons why I want to leave Boston is you've been splitting the spotlight with Tatum, right? You go to Cleveland, and the first person you're going to meet is going to be Donovan Mitchell, and that's somebody else we're going to have to play. We've been doing it with either Harden or Darius Garland before him. The entire time that Donovan's been here has been two dominant guards. So yeah, that'd be cool. But it's talent, and I think that's what the Cavaliers would be looking at a lot. Hey, I'd rather have Brown out there than Max Strus. I'd rather have Brown out there than Dean Wade. I'd rather have Brown out there than Sam Merrill.
I'd rather have Jaylen Brown out there, right? I'd rather have Jaylen Brown out there right now than Donovan Mitchell. Let's just be very clear. I'd rather have at least one of those guys feels pressure and knows what it's like to feel pressure and what it means when that pays off, when that pressure pays off. And one guy that doesn't mind. He'll see us in 19 or whatever, 17, 16 weeks, whatever it is now. He'll see us then. So I'd rather have Donovan or Jaylen Brown in this city than Donovan Mitchell right now. I'd rather have Jaylen Brown just because he cares. Go ahead, Double A.
I was going to say, let me show you a proposal that someone on Reddit put together here. You might not be able to see.
Well, this must be right.
Let's see.
So you may not be able to see it.
See if we can zoom it in. There we go.
All right, so Cavaliers would get Jaylen Brown. Boston would get Giannis. And then Milwaukee, we're giving up Evan Mobley. You got Gonzalez there from Boston. Max Strus we're giving up. And then the Celtics 27 and 20 or 31 first-round pick. And in this scenario, obviously, this is Giannis saying he only wants to be in Boston. We wouldn't pick him up. So this is just something that's out. It's a Reddit. It's just, But if this went down, what would you think about this?
I guess my only question would be who, to Roz's point, I don't think you bring Jaylen Brown in unless Donovan Mitchell's on the way. I think the Cavaliers can't get involved with something like this and give up Evan Mobley. I just don't. It's interesting, but I just think the only way you bring Jaylen Brown in is if one of these guards are moved off of the team, which is James Harden, who's going to be honest. Get ready. James Harden is going to sign an extension here soon. So James Harden or Donovan Mitchell, and that leaves you up to one guy, Donovan Mitchell. So, if you're the Cavs, you look at that and you look at, and then here's the thing though. If you do that, you're now pivoting the entire future because now you move Donovan for Jaylen Brown. Now you have a backcourt of James Harden and Jaylen Brown. Now you're looking at the front court. Well, why does Evan Mobley's timeline even matter anymore? We're trying to win a championship. So now you look at Evan Mobley and you move him off and you go somewhere else and you find something. That opens up a can of worms. But I do think Jaylen Brown is disgruntled enough in Boston that he would entertain Cleveland. I mean, I know he's not an East Coast guy. He played college basketball at Cal. However, he spent a lot of time in the East Coast. He's ready. He's used to winters, bad winters. So he could definitely be ready here. And if he wants the embrace that he's been so after, he's been so wanting to be the guy. He said he had the most fun this season and he got bounced in the first round and all this other jazz. He would be beloved in Cleveland. The first week he's here, they'd have a "We Are All Witnesses" as type of poster for Jaylen Brown. I mean, he would be beloved here. So it is worth entertaining.
It is worth entertaining for sure. But again, I don't know, besides making the fans happy and putting a new name here, what that's going to do. But I mean, we'll see what happens with Giannis. I have a feeling it will be an Eastern Conference team. I think he's going to want, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see some other players want to move out to the East because, we saw it happen this time around. I know New York had a magical run, but the East is wide open. It's still wide open. It's going to be wide open. I could see some things shifting around, and it's going to be interesting to see if the Cavaliers are a part of these moves or if they're affected by just residual aftershocks on some of these deals, because they're going to be affected. It's going to absolutely affect with what they're going to do. In this Giannis trade, I'm hearing that, Tyler Hero could land in Detroit as part of a 3-team deal. All of a sudden you got, Cunningham, Hero, and Duran up there. That makes things look a little different.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
As a Cavs fan, I would hate that.
Yeah. Anything that a Piston fan would love, a Cavs fan would automatically hate on that one.
Well, I'll say this too, Rozycki. The other team to keep an eye out, I know we didn't get a ton of time to talk about them, is Minnesota. They've been very adamant about not moving off Jaden McDaniels, who had a great postseason run. He's a great two-way player for them. If Minnesota gives up Jaden McDaniels, I think we could see the sleeper team in Giannis. We've seen it before with Toronto, with Kawhi. We've seen it before with Donovan, even in Cleveland. I could see Giannis ending up in Minnesota with Anthony Edwards, with Julius Randle at that point, and you're running a lineup there of Gobert. You would have to, maybe you give up Randle, but if the Bucks are in the consideration of we just want a young guy, McDaniel's still under 30, can play both ways. He's somebody you can build around, and you get a ton of draft picks. But that's another team too. If you want to play with stars and win, Minnesota's been in the Western Conference Finals.
Minnesota.
That works for me. Get Giannis out of the Eastern Conference. I'm cool with that.
Minnesota is that friend that you have, or it might be you or whatever like that it seems like every person you date and then break up with gets hitched and finds their forever home 2 seconds later. That's what Minnesota is. Ask Kevin Garnett gets traded to Boston, wins a title. Ask Kevin Love, gets traded here, wins a title. Ask Andrew Wiggins, gets traded to Minnesota and then traded to Golden State and wins a title. And now ask Karl Anthony Towns, gets traded to New York and wins a title. If I'm Anthony Edwards, I want to get traded right now because I'm winning a title in 48 months, and that'll be about it.
But that's the reason why the Timberwolves should be all in on Giannis, is because of Edwards being so adamant about wanting to already kind of win. And like they asked him if they feel like he has enough, and he's like, "Oh yeah, we're cool." You can tell Edwards is kind of getting fed up there too. So this is Minnesota's front office being like, "Please."
Well, they're also dealing with an ownership change out there too, and a lot of stupid stuff happening.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah. That's the only team that stood out to me though. So.
No matter what happens, though, I'm sure Milwaukee will do what is appropriate for them and what will help them out the most in the long-term future. Any team that is owned by Jimmy Haslam, we can trust will make the viable long-term move that will secure their future. So, yeah, they're in good hands. This is the main event on the Inside Edge Net. We are actually in good hands. We got Eli Moon running shop here. We got the boss of the bosses here, Anthony Alford. I am along for the ride. I am Rob Rozycki. We have one more segment left here. We'll figure out what we have learned and then get you going here to start your week on this Sunday night. This is the main event on the Inside Edge Net. Again, I am Rob. We have AA Anthony Alford. We have Eli Moon. And, yeah, we'll be back.
Key On Sports is the leader in Ohio high school athletic coverage in written, print, and video streaming. From the latest news and results and written content to the high school football game of the week every Friday, Key On Sports has you covered. The vision of 15-time published author Vince McKee has become the most trusted site in Ohio high school athletic news. From podcasts to player profiles, Key On Sports is your one stop for all of it. Visit them today at keyonsports.com or on YouTube at Key On Sports. Check out their socials on Twitter and Facebook as well.
Clean energy, bold flavors, and no jitters. See why people won't shut up about Dubby. Clean energy, no jitters or crash. Whether you're starting your workday or getting ready to exercise, Dubby Energy helps you lock in and focus. There were 15 flavors to choose from you can't miss. Order Dubby Energy right now by using the QR code on your screen and use the promo code InsideEdge10 to receive 10% off your order. Dubby Energy, your energy-focused sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Discover our collection of body mists made with clean, minimal ingredients. Handcrafted with natural essential oils and clean ingredients, they offer a natural alternative to synthetic fragrances. Perfect for sensitive skin and those seeking clean, mindful self-care, and the perfect gift for you or your special someone. Courtesy of Alley Rose Fragrances. First-time customers, use that promo code InsideEdge20 to receive 20% off your order. AlleyRoseFragrances.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Whether searching for a baseball autographed by your favorite World Series slugger, a signed football by an iconic Hall of Famer, or the jersey of a world-famous soccer star, you've come to the right place. Here at sportsmemorabilia.com, the web's leading source of authentic sports memorabilia, you'll find more than 500,000 authentic products from nearly every professional sports league, team, and players. Not only will you find your next prized sports possession with ease thanks to superb customer service and tremendous site experience, you'll have the satisfaction and peace of mind that every product listed comes complete with a certificate of authenticity and is fully backed by the sportsmemorabilia.com lifetime authenticity guarantee. Go to sportsmemorabilia.com by using the QR code on your screen right now. Sportsmemorabilia.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Podcast Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Find us on InsideEdgeNetwork.com for the latest information on your favorite shows, personalities, and network partners. Plus, guess what? We have a merch shop. That's right, we have network polos, t-shirts, champion jackets, hats, and bottles. Rep the network. Every purchase supports independent sports and entertainment media. Use the QR code on your screen right now to check out InsideEdgeNetwork.com. That's InsideEdgeNetwork.com.
Happy Juneteenth from all of us here at the Inside Edge Network. A lot of great program. Hope you guys are getting out and about here on this Friday if you're able to, and enjoy this beautiful weekend here in Cleveland. Of course, all day long we're talking about the 2016 Cavaliers and the 10-year anniversary. It was on this day 10 years ago. It was Father's Day 2016 when your Cleveland Cavaliers won the NBA championship. And tonight on Midnight Run, a special edition of Midnight Run, we're going to talk about that 2016 team, reflect back my personal memories of that championship, and not just the team, but that whole run from 2014 all the way to the end of 2018. It's going to be a fun time. Again, remember what today is about. Happy Juneteenth to all of you guys, and you guys enjoy the day, enjoy our programming here on the Inside Edge Network, and I'll see you later on. Right here, remember, like and subscribe at Inside Edge Net.
And welcome back to the main event here on the Inside Edge Net. I am Rob Rozycki. We got Eli Moon, AA Anthony Alford. Thanks for doing the Juneteenth promo. I think if me and Eli were doing it, probably be a little awkward, Anthony.
I don't know why double even have me on the screen for like moral support or something, I guess.
I didn't I watched that
I didn't
promo.
say a
I'm like,
single word.
oh crap! I did not bring Eli in.
I just stood there like,
Yeah, he just kind of sat there and looked white. It was great.
I was like, hi guys.
That's
Happy
right.
weekend.
That's right. Juneteenth. That's right. That's right.
That's right. Absolutely.
Oh
Absolutely.
Lord, yeah. I have what is on TV right now. One of my favorite matches of all time, 1989 Great American Bash.
Wow.
It was a tuxedo match with Jim Cornette and Paulie Dangerously. It was the old Midnight against the original, the original Midnight against the new Midnight. And I didn't have the commentary on. Obviously, we're doing the show, but if you listen to, I think Jim Ross is on it. It starts out with like, "Oh, these fat little managers are going to have a nice little match," and then like 5 minutes in, you're like, "These guys are beating the shit out of each other. Like this is for real, dude." And like, yeah, I mean, I got a shirtless Paulie Dangerously, just pointing towards the crowd. This is about 30 years and 90 pounds ago. So yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite matches. Period.
And who knew years later Jim Ross would have the opportunity to beat up Paul Heyman at the commentary desk when Paul Heyman was fired
Oh yeah.
on television? You're like, you son of a bitch. And you heard the huff and the puff.
The second best firing in wrestling history. The best one was a little earlier than that when Bobby Heenan left WWF. They had it written out where like they like literally just like grabbed his ass on camera and threw him out of the back door of the building, and then like he like looks up at his bag, hits him in the head, and is just like, "Oh, no, I don't want to go." But I'm gonna go get paid a lot of money by Ted Turner.
Well, Rozycki, I know we're about to put a bow on this thing in just a second. When we get off here, you might have to hook Omar up with a link. He would like to also watch Jim Cornette versus Paulie Dangerously.
Oh, okay, yeah, I can handle that probably while we're going here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Vault. By the way, real quick programming note: Side Hustle Wrestling Podcast. We're back Friday. Myself and Kyle Friday morning on the network.
Come on.
We're gonna break down how WWE is about to piss off people when Jey Uso wins the King of the Ring tournament next weekend.
I just want to know. Go ahead, Rozycki. You go. You probably have a better question.
I'm glad I'm watching the old stuff. That's all I was going to say.
I just want to know what's going on with Danhausen, man. So he has the Miz and Kit Wilson in these cloning things, and then Matt Cardona is becoming Zack Ryder again after he got shocked. I mean, this is like, you talk about cinema. You talk about the bloodline. Danhausen has his own bloodline he's creating.
By the way, I saw that the Bloodline storyline has now lasted longer than the entire NWO storyline back in the day.
NWO, Attitude Era, all of that. We're talking, I think it will officially be 6 years at the end of August. 6 years where the Bloodline storyline first started with Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman.
well, we haven't even reached the second half yet. So just, we're still in the fourth inning, and Zilla Fatu's got to come out and all these other guys. I mean,
yeah, they're already planning for pushes on people who haven't been born yet in this storyline. That's, this storyline is the NBA equivalent of like trading a 2032 first round pick. You're trading the rights to somebody who's in sixth grade right now. They're trying to figure out the final stages of the bloodline. Whoever's going to be involved right now, I think is in middle school.
Yeah, like Roman Reigns, like his fifth child is going to be the face of pro wrestling in the 2040s.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely. Well, with that company, it's going to be somebody's kid for sure.
Yeah, no, for real. And I know, Rozycki, we're about to put a bow on this. Just a friendly reminder, if everybody's been enjoying the content so far, this obviously start of the week, we got daily and weekly programming just like this. You can go ahead and like, subscribe, follow Inside Edge Net on all the socials. Check out the website, InsideEdgeNetwork.com. You can read about Rob. Look at that. You can read about Rob, AA, and myself. Read about all the personalities. Check out the shop. Go get a mug, a shirt, a hat, and, of course, our partners page. And, of course, Rozycki, we would be absolutely remiss if we didn't let the people know to get the Inside Edge Network app on Roku. We're on Roku now. How cool is that? Yeah.
That will absolutely. We are moving up in the world now. I like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So on my Roku TV, I could actually throw up the running of our show while we're doing it, and then you can just slowly watch me descend into hell.
Yeah, that is correct. Yes,
that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
We simulcast our live programming on the Roku app. So
yes.
Hey, good stuff. All right, let's figure out what the hell we have learned over the last 14 days since we didn't meet last week. But yeah, you know what? I'll go first on this one. I normally, we let's switch up the order here on this one.
Okay.
We talked about it at the top of the show, the World Cup, and I will be the first one. And if you've listened to this, watched this show, while we've been on the air, you know this. I will be the first one to bring up how this country's going to hell in a handbasket in a multitude of different ways, and they changed, it seems like, from day to day. But watching all of this stuff happen with the World Cup, and we didn't really talk about the fans when we were breaking down Team USA. But watching, the Scottish fans just become a national sensation here, taking over Boston, putting road cones on everything, drinking the city of Boston out of beer. I think you would have a better chance of draining the Atlantic Ocean. But nonetheless, they did it. I even heard yesterday the Scottish fans on their way out were trying to get something to eat, and they just looked at them and said, "We don't have any food either." The way they have been conducting themselves, they have been cleaning up after themselves. They have been the joy of the party. Boston has loved them being there. They have loved being there themselves. I saw that the city of Boston just finalized paperwork to become a sister city with Glasgow. That's how well this has gone. And it's not just Boston and the Scots. You're seeing Croatia down in Texas. You're seeing Mexico in Mexico. And you're seeing everybody else coming over here and experiencing, Waffle House and Buc-ee's and Walmart and free refills and ranch dressing and all of the things that we have, just kind of accepted as everyday life over here as Americans. We are watching the rest of the world just come over here and sit in awe and just love everything that's happening. And again, we can talk about how, all the other crap with this country going on right now. This is my America 250. This is my celebration of this country. We are opening our doors to the world, and they are all coming in, and they are having the time of their lives. And what better way to celebrate this country? And it's great with the World Cup because we have sites in Boston. We have sites in Miami. We have sites in Texas, in California, in Kansas City, in the Pacific Northwest. Everybody who's coming over here can sample pretty much every bit of culture in this country, from Tex-Mex to Cuban food to clam chowder, everything. And everyone is having such a great time, Americans included. And I am relearning right now what the great things about sports are. And that's what this is everyone coming together, everyone just having a good time. I'm watching, Scottish, bagpipes and Haitian street drummers just mixing on the street corner. I mean, we're having cultures intermingle. They're actually predicting a baby boom in Boston in 9 months after this whole Scottish invasion. I don't think we're done with it yet. And, we're learning relearning the great things about sports. And we're also learning, speaking of the crap going on in the world right now, that we're putting all of these cultures together. We're putting, Asian, European, North and South America, Australia, Africa, everybody, Timbuktu, it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. And we're having a good time. We're celebrating differences. We're not getting angry about them. We're learning from them. We're not building up walls and trying to keep people out. Like this, we are learning that all of the crap that is happening nationally, internationally, is a small group of people, because human nature, humanity itself, we want to sit back and have a great time with a bunch of people we know and don't even know. And love and togetherness and inclusion. That's what humanity is. This whole war and strife and hate and bigotry and reflecting pools and nuclear treaties and all this bullshit that's flying around right now, that's a very small group of people, and that behavior has to be learned. because we're seeing what happens when the other billion people are having just the time of their lives, just being them and just having good vibes. And that is what instinct wants us to do. The hate, the violence, the separation, that is taught, that is learned, that is passed down from one generation to the other. Because I'm seeing right now at every one of these World Cup cities, we want to party. We want to have a good time. We want to enjoy each other's company. We want to learn things from other people. It isn't this crap that's going on in Washington or in Israel or in Iraq or in North Korea or any other hot spot we can think of right now. It's love. It's togetherness. And again, it's a game that nobody in this country truly understands, but we're along for the ride because it's a hell of a party. So yeah, that's what I've learned over vacation over the last couple of days. And I'm very happy I learned it.
Heck yeah. I agree with you there, bud.
No, there's a lot to piggyback. No, there's a lot to piggyback because there's another point. I'm not going to have time to get into it tonight, maybe this week, but the way the World Cup, we're not on the sports side. We're not embracing the bait and making things about, it's the end of the world if Team A loses to Team B. And this is why Team A sucks because they lost, things like that. I think there's a big point to that.
And it's such a small, like the World Cup, in a lot of ways, is the NCAA tournament. And let me explain here. Like, there's a lot of these smaller countries out there. The Curaçaos, all of the Cape Verde, I think had a draw tonight too. All of these countries, it's just an honor to be there. It's an honor to make an appearance for your country. It's an honor to score a goal, even if you lost 5-1 and you were out in 3 games. Like, just the idea of being there is cause for celebration. So I think that's what we're seeing a lot too. And it's great that we're seeing all of these foreign tourists. They're basically living the first Harry Potter book. They're Harry Potter and the United States is Hogwarts. And they're seeing all of this magical shit happen. And they're just so wide-eyed. And it's so great to watch everybody experience this country firsthand and having such a great time doing it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It has been a lot of fun, Rozycki. Just the fans rocking out and doing their thing. It's good news is it's not over. It's far from over. So there's a Massachusetts state senator who's trying to work out with the Scottish national team for them to come back and play some friendlies just to get the fans back. Like that's how well this is going right now. Yeah, and we get to see actually Monday and Tuesday. Keep an eye on those same fans when you give them tequila. Welcome to Miami, everybody.
Oh yeah. Hey, listen. Those fans turning up at Waffle House at 1 a.m. and enjoying it. Golden Corral, we got some good stuff here. It's great. My only complaint about the World Cup,
is the crooks that run it.
Yeah.
But actually, another thing I've also learned.
Seattle Stadium.
But the other thing I've also learned too is like the NFL, where you notice with the NFL, like all the off-field bullshit's happening, and you have Roger Goodell praying to whoever he prays to, get me to Sunday, get these games to start, and nobody cares about it. And that's exactly what's happening with this World Cup.
Yep, you're not cared about the politics at all at 9 a.m. on a Sunday morning. Kind of the same deal. Another real quick, fascinating thing, and then Eli, you're up next because I'm going to actually request to go last. Yeah. The one little fascinating thing, Team USA has one other match before the next round. But it's like, man, postseason play. Imagine postseason play where you play once a week or twice a week. And in the middle of it, I'm not saying you kind of have a bye, but you kind of do a little bit. That's interesting. I just thought about that. All right, Mr. Moon, you're up next.
Yeah, what I learned this weekend, just going to be short and sweet with it. I just learned that spending time out in nature is very important. Spending time with loved ones and people you care about is very important. I spent a lot of time out in the community this past weekend with Omar, our morning show host. You'll hear him tomorrow or today. about 5 minutes will be today at 10 a.m. We'll be rocking out with, him, and I'll be behind the board, doing the thing. So, it was cool to be out there with him. I've been out, went to church with Double A and Kyle and Jake and Omar last weekend, just a lot of good things stepping out. So I'm just blessed that I have the people I do have around me. Right now, and family, it was Father's Day today, so I was able to spend a little bit of time with Papa Moon. He's a ladies' magnet, so everybody was calling up his phone and trying to get a lunch date with the man, the myth, the legend. But I was able to get some time with him before he, spent some time with some friends of his. And just all that being said, I guess I'm just blessed, and that's what I keep reminding myself. So what I learned this weekend is just spend some time. Summer is important, and people you care about is important. And I called my mom today, and she knows when I'm in trouble when my mom was like, "Hello, long lost son," and I'm like, "Oh no, I'm in trouble." So
Yeah.
I, talked to Mama Dukes, like I said, talked to Pops. Glad he had a good Father's Day, and just overall, man, just blessed. So that's what I learned this weekend. Is just appreciate the people around you, because it could all really change in an instant. And yeah, man, yeah, that's what I could learn this weekend.
Yo, my mom does the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, you don't call. Like I thought I was missing the sun.
Yeah.
What are we doing? All right, here's what I learned. Okay. It's been 25 years since this movie was released, and I never watched it from start to finish. My attention span when I was 9 years old was piss poor. Now at the age of 34, it's just poor. But for the first time, my friends and I, they had a birthday party for their 1-year-old son, and then a few drinks were flowing, and have you watched Lord of the Rings?
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, I've watched 10 minutes of Lord
Maybe.
of the Rings. And
Yeah.
And I'm like, so no, I have not.
Okay.
And we watched the extended version of the first 2 Lord of the Rings movies.
Extended versions?
Extended.
Dang, so you watched 3 movies technically.
Dude, it was 4 hours a pop.
Yeah.
That was a full day's work, and the movies were fantastic. Not even gonna lie to you, it was fantastic. We still got us. We're gonna make some time. I think 4th of July weekend to watch the 3rd one. But man, I didn't know what I was missing out on.
If you watched all the extended Lord of the Rings back to back, it would be 11 hours and 46 minutes. That's 3 movies.
There's a lot of worse ways you could spend 11 hours. You could spend 3 weeks watching Browns football.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. But I learned this past week, today and yesterday, Lord of the Rings, Double A is going to put some respect on that movie series. Phenomenal stuff. I love what I was watching through the first 2 movies. It was great. Maybe alcohol was a little bit of a kicker to get us started, but I was locked in.
Hey.
Can't wait to watch the next installment.
I love it. Hey, you know what? Some people even get on stage, Double A. In the music world, some people take a sip of alcohol. Some people indulge in their green thumb a little bit before they get on stage. So you know what? Whatever you need is your kicker to get into.
I think Aerosmith did heroin.
Let's not do that.
Oh, one other thing that I learned. One other thing, and here it is.
Double A.
By the way, this is
Double A, dude.
Who is that?
Trish Stratus.
She's on OnlyFans now?
Yes, guess so. We just found out. It's what we just learned this weekend.
I learned during the show that kind of broke. And then I hate to be the bad guy. Others have done some investigative journalism while we were on the air, and it turns out this is not true.
Oh, close up that window. Okay.
Okay. I guess we learned that Trish Stratus was possibly going to be on OnlyFans, but she's not. All right.
But she is not. So
okay,
dude, that was, I have no satisfaction for that one.
I thought you were joining OnlyFans there, Moon. I thought there was going to be some foot pics involved, but yeah, it is what it is.
No. They would want good looking people.
Those would be high value.
No, man. That's a different different day. But look, in the music world, you run into some OnlyFans models. I can't say that I haven't, but I've never been a part of any videos. I've never been a part of anything OnlyFans related.
Can I just say, I saw that tweet like minutes before we started tonight's show. And I'm like, there's no way. There's no way. And then people on, because that account have 400 replies, 11,000 likes, bookmarked 3,000 times.
Yeah, people were just excited, Double A. If I told you that freaking, your favorite food item from your favorite place was coming back, but it wasn't real, but it got you excited just like a bunch of other people. I got my engagement, and that is the name of social media nowadays. They got their engagements. You helped them get a monthly check. Whoever that is, you just helped them get a monthly check. So you just helped out somebody today.
And you also got to give whoever wrote that up the creativity to find something that you knew everyone was going to click on. And that was something that everybody was going to click on.
Pretty smart. Pretty smart.
Dude.
Stopped you guys in your tracks.
Hey, I'll tell you this too, on the discussion. I saw a really clever single release for an artist here in the city. It was like, all right, I'm joining OnlyFans, and you go to click on the link, and it's her Apple Music, it's her new single out. So you go right to the song. Yeah. I was like, all right,
that's pretty smart. Right. That's pretty smart. Because
I saw somebody was like a teacher or something, like they were doing like education, like basic math videos and stuff, and nobody was watching them on YouTube. They put them on Pornhub. And for whatever reason, the click rate was like times 10. So
sometimes you just need a change of scenery. I guess that's all you need.
Okay, that's
hey,
nice,
it's man. All just hey, we're proving it right now. You can be great. It's just all about the platform you're on. You got to be on the right platform, and then you can actually get that audience. Who knew that people were logging on the Pornhub looking for help with algebra? But it is what it is.
Oh my God.
Hey, we need help with that TI-83 calculator.
We ain't gonna find it here. Go back to school.
Hey, you gotta go to Pornhub or X videos. We need help with that.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we're probably half the people on that damn site didn't graduate high school. Because they flunked out, not because they're too young. Okay, yeah, on that note, let's just get the hell out of here before we say anything even dumber than what the last 5 minutes was. But yes, thank you all for listening. Yes, of course, everybody will be back. Omar will be on the air tomorrow, bright and early, 10 a.m., correct? Or
yep.
Yes.
Yep.
We'll be ready to go with that one. We'll have a midnight run with Double A. We'll have Inside Edge Prime Time. You know the deal.
Oh, yeah, special note, real quick, Rob, special note. Tomorrow, myself, Autumn, and Christy, we will have a Love Island watch-along, 8:30 here on the network. They are in Casamora, which I'll explain to you off air. We're not going to have time to break that down. Basically, a whole new cast is on the show now.
Rozycki, shit's about to get real, and I don't even watch the show. Shit's about to get real.
8:30, Monday night. We're on the air.
Yeah, which means
I'll be in the radio studio. I'm sorry.
So to follow up on that program and hand it back to Rozycki, that means prime time will be at 11 instead of 10 tomorrow. 11, we're expecting around 11 o'clock, and then midnight run with Double A Anthony Alford. Midnight tomorrow, Monday. Busy day, of course, on Filter right in between there, 5 to 6 as well. So yeah, Rozycki.
Yes. And as not as always, this is a new thing the last week or so. You can go on Keon Sports and get all of our programming there too. We have the Roku app, obviously all of our socials. You know where to find us. Been looking at our ticker for the last couple of hours. You clearly know where to find us. So yes, check us out on all the platforms. And we love the we love the attention. We love the participation. And we could not do this without any one of you. So yes, keep the good times going and check us out whenever you can. For everybody here in our studio, we got Double A, we got Eli Moon. I am Rob Rozycki, and for these guys until tomorrow. For me until next week. Actually, I'll be on with Omar on Tuesday. We'll see you when we see you.
Let's go.